Lions are even better here in this tournament.
Okay, I'm catching up in the game, so I'm there
Okay,
soon.
all good. Yeah, I actually forgot temporarily that you weren't there. But stable for Vinchester, and Sebastian's gonna go for some early aggression here. And I will say, map-wise, like you said, it's open. The golds could be a real issue for Sebastian if he loses map control. Right there on the front. Vinchester's map, I'd say, is better to wall up and protect the wood lines he's taking, the berries and the golds. But he has more work to do. So far, he's done a really good job, and Sebastian's man-at-arms are likely just going to be on the outside of the walls here. Oh, man. Bit of a lame here for Sebastian, though. He kills a goat, and then he also steals 2 more. Now, I think these goats are actually going to be completely fine. They're going to go right back to the TC there for Vinchester, but first game of a big series, Margougou.
Yeah, and I'm there. Perfect.
Sometimes there's nerves, right? And these guys are going to want to chill, and Sebastian has not really allowed Vinchester to chill here at the start.
Yeah, actually, this man-at-arms opening, like, is pretty, like, I said Vinchester might go aggro on this map and on this matchup, and actually it has the opposite, right? Sebastian is like, if I can bring you the aggression, I don't like, what's the best defense? It's going attack, right? And that's what Sebastian is trying to do there, I believe. But for now, it has not been working that well for him, as he's hitting a palisade wall. Vinchester is trilling right now, and he is able to bring the counter attack with the scout. Let's see if he can find some damage. Sebastian was like, he has wall up everything, all his resources. Maybe a bit weak on the berries, but he's not that far from the TC, so he should be able to defend that properly.
Yeah, and he'll see the scouts, so he has a bit of time to react to this. Is going to just complete the palisade walls here. So that's not going to be an issue, and Vinchester's probably just going to shift his focus towards defending his base now. It's now man-at-arms and a spearman, so the scouts definitely can't come back to deal with this, but still, it feels like skirms behind walls. Probably okay for Vinchester here against this army.
Oh, Vinchester is trying to snipe a villain on the blacksmith, but no. Sebastian should be able to save it.
Oh! Wow, that was an insane block from Vinchester.
Nice micro.
Wow.
And I have to say, as the TC doesn't hit anything, I mean, you can try. Like, I don't know how it was on Vubli, but I remember many players telling me, like, on Vubli, you had to respect the TC, right? And on DE, I mean, I don't think on Vubli you could do this. On DE, you can try to dance around the arrows, and you can snipe the vills at the end, but well played from Vinchester anyway.
Yeah, it's also towers as well on DE though.
Okay.
Like towers are so much less accurate. And so that is, I think, if you were to compare old metas to new, I think that's also a reason why towers aren't seen as frequently. It's just because the arrows just don't hit. Like, how many times do you have, like, you build a tower and they have archers right next to your tower, and when they run away, they don't lose a single archer, right?
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is, and Vinch took advantage of that, right? And honestly, he found damage where most players would not. Like, even though the TCs aren't as accurate, I would never dare to try and kill that villager, because I'd probably just lose my scouts, and then I can't do what he's doing right now and clear this army up, which is just so perfect for Vinchester here.
And that shows how confident he is going into this set, right? Like, to try to dent with this scout, you have to be really confident. You have to believe, like, you're really good with your micro and things like that. And at the end of the day, with this little skirmish, he managed to kill Vil, come back, clean the army, and now Franks is in an amazing position, right? Because he has a lot of farms already, and he will be able to use his scout and his skirmisher into a counter-attack, while Sebastian has to produce some eagles, right? So right now, Vinch can just stop producing any military, try to go up as soon as possible, while Sebastian has to react to Vinchester army. So I believe Vinchester is in a really good position in this game for now, as Sebastian is not fully walled up yet.
Yep, Sebastian's not fully walled. It's interesting. He is starting to wall that right-hand side, and he's just using his army to protect the front. But, you know, with his opponent having skirms coming forward, if Vinchester could find even more archer kills, it could be really strong for him. Might be able to find more villager kills. Sebastian sees the scouts coming in, and Vinch chooses to just run by here. He's not going to choose to dive in. His skirmishers are actually coming with him, though. So he's not going to the front. He's going to go to the side.
I think at this point, he wants to make sure that Sebastian is not going for a counter-attack. Because if Sebastian is going for a counter-attack, Archer are way more dangerous than Skirms, right? So, and Vinch is not fully walled yet. He might be able to full wall in time, but let's see if Sebastian's gonna go back to deal with the pressure, or if he's gonna go straight forward.
Well, Sebastian has a weak Vil on the farm, and he didn't notice it. That is something he really needed to pay attention to. It was on 5 HP. Vinchester noticed it, and like you said, I'm seeing confidence from Vinch right now. And there's a hole! Oh man, Vinchester's gonna love this. Maybe he realized there was a hole, and Sebastian didn't, but now Sebastian has sent his army forward.
Yeah.
He can't defend from this easily, and even though it's just skirmishers here, slowly he could lose villagers on the wood line too.
That's pretty bad. Maybe Vinch can lose a Vil there on the Archer of Sebastian, but Sebastian is not on it. So he won't kill this Vil. I mean, that's pretty bad for Sebastian, right? Because now he committed into the counter-attack, right? He cannot just go back all the way. He cannot go all the way back and try to deal with this. He will just stay there, sit there. But he has to be careful because looks like Vinchester is going back, and Vinchester want to kill this mass of archers so bad.
Yeah, and Vinchester, possibly, as we have very high standards for both players here, maybe a little sloppy from him too to lose that Vil. He does know the archers are here, and he's going to bring his army home. The plan for Franks is you want knights, but if you have 15 on wood and 12 on food,
that's not that good.
Because of this pressure, you're not going to be able to make that many knights. It might actually be more of a skirm focus than anything than for Vinchester here.
Skirm might be good enough early on at least. And I think later on you want to switch into a lot of knights. Because Mayans is the only Mesosive that doesn't have good monks, right? So it means if you are getting snowballed by a lot of knights with a lot of mangonels, you cannot go for redemption and convert everything, right? So if it snowballs, you have no answer. And Sebastian will need to take care about this because he doesn't want it to snowball. But for now, he needs to save his archer. He needs to survive 30 seconds to get his crossbow upgrade, and then he will be able to dominate, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, my impression, I played Sebastian a lot more than Vinch. My impression is that he is absolutely going to be in a good spot to potentially kill this when he gets these upgrades because there's no armor on the skirms. He has the eagles there, but Vinch is just trying to... He doesn't want to go for a lead skirm. He's going to try and just get value from the skirms before the next stage, but that is a disastrous fight for Vinch, and so it is going to be only knights for him, but he's forced to drop 2 TCs right away, go for the siege. Times are going to be tough in Vinch's eco right now.
I mean, he's going double stable knight, triple TCs, fixed workshop with 9 on food.
Yeah.
That says it all. That's going to be really complicated for him right now.
The good news, though, is that, Sebastian can't really find immediate damage. I think the issue I would have if I were in Vinchester's position is woodlines. Woodlines could be a real issue against crossbows, so we'll see how this goes. Right now, Vinchester's going to take the fight. He knows there's weak archers in there, Margougou. Another interesting engagement from Vinch. He really is trying to take these moments where I think a lot of players wouldn't engage without +2 armor here or without their siege. But he does. He kills some crossbows, does lose 1 knight, and is going to have to back away now.
I think he realized how bad the situation is right now, and he's thinking every archer that I can kill right now is an archer that won't be behind the wood line harassing me later on, right? So he's okay, let's try to get as much kills as I can. And I think the game plan for Vinch now is going to be try to counterattack with all his knights constantly, try to bring the pressure, try to snipe some Vils while he's defending with some siege at home. But yeah, he will have to choose army or Vils right now, while Sebastian is going 2 TC first, a monastery right. He's playing according to his economy. He's not over-investing into some TCs early on. So I like Sebastian's position now. And as I said earlier, if Sebastian managed to get this game into early imp, into a big mass of archer, early imp, he might be able to make the difference versus Franks. While Franks need a huge economy, paladins, maybe Onega as well. It's not as simple for Vinchester.
I think imp will be a little tricky for Sebastian just because of the lack of farming eco. Now, that's standard when he's going so heavy on wood and gold for crossbows and for monks. But meanwhile, you look at Vinchester's economy, this guy's got 24 farms. And I remember this was a theme for him in his series where against ACCM, where even if he fell behind in Vils, which he's ahead right now, I would always just constantly be surprised at how well he added eco back at home right now, behind attack. So my issue for Vinchester is purely how do you deal with a big ball of crossbows, especially when Sebastian can micro like anyone in the world.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, it's Frank's economy, right? But he's adding them like crazy. Like soon he will be on 35 farms and he will be able to spam knights, I believe. But for now, Sebastian does have the military advantage. He's going forward. Sebastian could maybe build a Sigurd shop on the hill in the front of Vinchester buildings. It'd be a good one, actually. Even if you don't want to push, really, like, just taking the map control could be good for Sebastian.
Do you think that Sebastian was in any ways passive here? Because Vinchester made 4 knights and 1 mangonel. That's it this whole time, and has been able to boom, while Sebastian has lots of monks and crossbows on the field. Do you think that maybe Sebastian is playing it safe because of the matchup, or maybe possibly a little too safe because of the moment here today?
Well, I think as a viewer, like, we saw that Vinchester was not in that good of a position, right? We saw that Vinchester was adding 3 TC right away with Knight Farm. We knew he wouldn't be able to spam as many Knight as you wish. But if you are in Sebastian's point of view, I don't even know if Sebastian knows that Vinchester was on 3 TC right away. Like, it could be like all in 1 TC Knight, you go for +2 armor, then suddenly you have a big ball of Knight going out, cleaning your crossbow, and suddenly you have a huge counter attack coming and you are in a bad spot. So I think Sebastian decided to go for the safe plan. Ooh, Sebastian!
Oh, no way, dude.
He's not on it.
No way. Sebastian's going to have to get himself out of this. He gets close to the mangonels. He's going to get both of them, Vinch. Not Vinch, sorry, Margougou. But Vinchester will know as well. And that was, I think, a little lucky from Sebastian. But when he finally realized, it was perfect micro.
You know, that's this moment where you're not on your crossbow, then you go back on them, and you see the rocks flying over you, like, oh, nice dodge by me.
Yeah, this is like if Sebastian gets asked in an interview later about this moment, he'll be like, oh yeah, I saw it the whole time. I saw it the whole
exactly.
time.
I knew.
It's like in like football or I guess soccer, depending on where you're from, where it's like someone tries to cross the ball, and it goes in, and they're like, oh yeah, that was a shot. I was trying to score.
Exactly. But don't call it soccer tonight, please.
Well,
I know.
I gotta represent both sides, you know. But not just USA, Margougou, also Australia calls it soccer.
Australia call it soccer as well? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, no, I don't like Australia that much anymore.
All right, good to know. Well, we've got a real issue for Vinchester if his mangonels don't do damage here, right? I think if he had 3 mangonels right now, the ones he had before, and this one, this would be so difficult for Sebastian. So that moment right there was huge. But the eco from Vinchester is absolutely insane. He has that +2 armor now. He's getting up to about 15 knights. He's getting attack upgrades. This game might be decided with the next big fight.
And as we said, Vinchester is building into this composition that will be really annoying for Sebastian, right? As we said, Knight, Siege is not really easy to deal with for Mayans, as like Aztecs will go for redemption, Mayans cannot. So that's why Sebastian is mining a lot of stone, because he knows that if he doesn't find a solution to this push soon, this will snowball out of his hands. So he has to find a place for his castle, but where do you build your castle even? I mean, it can be a dog castle really quickly.
Yeah, now, I don't think Sebastian was expecting the knights to have moved towards his eco right now. That's in his eco. As he has to micro here, there's some big shots for Vinch. That's a lot of crossbows, and we just come to expect that the crossbows are going to kill the siege. So good job from Sebastian, but in his economy, he didn't react at all, and Vinchester's killed about 15, 16 villagers now.
That's a disaster. Like, look at the vill count now. The economic discrepancy now is huge in favor of Vinchester. And even the farm numbers is like the difference. I mean, a lot of vills are garrison for Sebastian right now, but still, the difference is massive.
Yeah, and if Vinchester could keep this army alive, he could still distract Sebastian. Then he could be in a good spot at home. I actually think Vinchester's going to need a castle at his own base at some point, because what has not happened here, and I've seen this so many times with the Mayans, if you don't kill their army, they're still okay, right? And that army is still not an army that Vinch can easily engage against. And Sebastian knows that, and he might come, maybe it's a forward castle. He is going to try a forward castle on Vinchester.
I mean, that's ambitious, right? Because he doesn't know if Vinch is going imp, if Vinch is like spamming full knights. He doesn't have any spear forward to protect it, but looks like it's gonna pay off. And this hill is nasty. Like he's taking on one goal, and if you look at the east of the castle, you have the second goal of Vinchester as well. So he's putting pressure on 2 gold of Vinchester. And
wow, that's a crazy castle, but the knights are in the woodline again. This is a great game. Here, Margougou, it's like Vinch is like, I can't kill your army, but I have the better eco than you now, and I'm gonna go imp. And he's going to try and stay alive. Look at the stone for Vinch. Vinch is just hoping that he can mine enough stone to move over here and drop a castle next to that gold.
Because I was looking for like any extra gold on the side of Vinchester base, but there's none, like nothing.
There's none.
Yeah.
Yeah. The neutral golds are on the right corner, both of them. So Vinch would have to go that way.
And he doesn't have vision on them at all. Or he has one vision, but it's still really far from his
I'm
base.
still really impressed with the damage that Vinchester's been able to find here, Margougou. Look at how many vills he continues to kill. He's killed 35 vills. The problem is he just can't kill the crossbows right now, but he's still done such a good job considering the circumstances with only knights.
Is it this type of game where you're gonna have like Vinchester raiding to death Sebastian, and you will have like, as you said, a big ball of arbalest in Vinch's base, and he cannot clean it?
Yes.
So Vinch gonna just like leave his base non-stop, run away from the crossbow, try to find some space to farm in peace. But yeah,
it's one of those games where I think that the military with the forward castle tends to win as long as Sebastian protects it. But
yeah,
I mean, if Vinchester had a gold, I might think a little bit differently, but he is about to run out of that gold, so making trebs, making knights is going to be tough. There's 20 pikes on the field for Sebastian. There's 30 crossbows. There's monks as well, and Sebastian has not hesitated at all. Even though he's been raided at home, he's always trying to damage Vinchester in some way.
Yeah, and the thing is, Franks need a lot of economy for their units, right? It's like bombard cannons is really expensive, a cavalier is really expensive, they do not have good skirms, they do not have good light cav, so the cheap option for Franks are not there, right? While Mayans can just spam hards and archer for nothing, while Vinchester is trying to kill all these archer before imp, might be a good jump.
Yep. I think it's the best case scenario for Vinchester is kill this group of crossbows, because Sebastian has really gotten value from this, and Sebastian doesn't have many more. Is it great to lose many of your knights as well to conversions there? No. But nice job from Vinchester to find the fight right before the upgrades come in. Now he could breathe a little bit, and he could start to treb the castle from Sebastian here on the front.
And now it's different, right? Because as we said early on, like archer and halberdiers are really complicated to deal with for Franks. But if it's only halberdiers, you can go like for hand cannoneer, bombard cannon while raiding with some cavalry, and you're totally fine. And looks like Vinchester might be in a really good position, because he's not going for chemistry though. That's a bit surprising for me. Chemistry might be so important in this scenario.
I think he needs to make a run for this gold on the right side.
True.
His game will tell him he has 19 on gold, but in reality, he's going to have 0 in just a second here because he's almost finished with it. A lot of people might say, why no skirmishers here? But Frank skirmishers are some of the worst in the game, right? And so it just is not a unit you really want to try and go for at all. So it's a tough spot for Vinch. I could fully understand it. He's got to keep his trebs alive. Sebastian's going to dive in for the trebs with the halbs, as Sebastian will need halbs at home because Vinch is still trying to break in, but Sebastian's paying attention there.
I'm a bit scared for Vinch, to be honest. Like, if he was going for chemistry, like, instantly, I would say he's in a good position, in a good spot. But now, if his castle, like, fall, like, behind, it's open bar for Sebastian to destroy Vinchester's economy.
Look at Sebastian with the knight he converted. He's on the stone. Also, this is a misclick so many players are doing. Trade cart is on the way for Vinchester.
Oh, really? I mean, he needs gold, right? He's like, come on, bro. Give me some, please.
It's pretty sad that he's out of gold and he's making a trade cart by accident.
Gold.
Man. Vinch is still killing a lot of vills. Like, Sebastian still trying to take out this castle, and he's not really defending himself too much.
Yeah.
Except for a couple monks here. Like, this is a crazy game here, Margougou.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Sebastian is doing the right choice, right? He has a choice to do. Like, does he want to save his villager, or does he want to make sure his trebs are not getting sniped? And right now, he's making the right choice, I believe, because if he can just push this castle down, then Vinch is going for skirms. It says a lot about how desperate is Vinchester right now to find an answer to these halberdiers. And looks like Vinch is trying to... Oh, nice quick wall.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful from Sebastian. Sebastian may lose like one more trap, but we've seen situations where players will lose all of them. Halbs are getting pulled out of position, though, actually.
Yeah.
And Vinchester, despite the walls from Sebastian, does snipe 3 of them. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good, but he doesn't have that much knights on the field like anymore. Yep. And I'm not sure if he will be able to snipe the traps. Yeah, no chemistry. Chemistry was such a big decision. I really think chemistry was the choice to go for. And he still has 0 on goal. No, 8 on goal? Where is he mining goal? Oh, he moved.
Yeah, he's on the right side now. Yeah, he did get some vills over there. I don't know if 7 on gold is enough for Cavalier or Bomber Cannons, though. It's probably, right now, just enough to get more skirm upgrades.
Yeah.
Sebastian, if he can get into Eagles, would be fantastic for him, but he also has some economic issues, to deal with, as Vinchester, again, finding villager kills with Cavalier. There's been like 100 halves in this game from Sebastian, and Vinch is still finding unbelievable amounts of damage.
The economic KD is crazy. I mean, that's the only chance for Vinchester, right? The only chance to slow down Sebastian push for Vinchester is to distract him, is to like destroy his economy. Oh, and look at this castle for Vinchester. Ooh, that could be really annoying. But
I don't actually love it.
Okay.
I would prefer to see those vills just build a castle on the neutral gold, or just literally just run over to neutral gold and build a castle to the left side near your skirms again. But you don't have time to think about it when you're playing, right? You just go off instinct, and maybe a forward castle to make things messy at Sebastian's base is actually a really good play.
Maybe even to force Sebastian to run his trebs in defense, so he cannot push further into Vinchester's economy.
Yeah.
And looks like Sebastian is going to defend this castle, try to trap it down. The red are still going. Actually, Vinchester is selling some food, and he's producing still a lot of cavaliers, but I'm a bit scared that little by little, Vinch will like lack a lot of gold to still produce these really expensive units, while halberdiers are really cheap for Sebastian. And he's taking into Eagle as well.
He doesn't have bombard cannons yet. If Vinch completes chemistry, there goes his trade card, by the way.
Yeah, he's going, where is the market? Wait.
He might get it.
Sebastian is not shooting on it. He's respecting the trade card. Oh no! Poor guy.
Vinchester's gonna have chemistry, which will make his skirmisher stronger. It'll give him access to bombard cannons.
Yeah.
He's killed almost 100 villagers this game. Now, he is safe in that corner where he had his castle and was pushed, so he could take his stone again, and he could breathe. I mean, if Vinch also finds the golden stone on the right here with one outpost, I think Vinch will have maybe more gold long-term than Sebastian, right? Like, Sebastian's eco doesn't have a lot of gold left in it either. It's just that one spot.
And look at the economic discrepancy now. Like 80 vills only. I mean, Sebastian has been readied to death for the last 10 minutes, but he was able to keep on the vills production to be around like 95, 100 vills. But 82, even for my hands, is really low now. Really, really low. Oh.
Okay, agree or disagree with this statement here, Margougou. I think Vinchester, like, since Castle Age, this has been twice as hard for Vinchester to win with this matchup.
I agree. After he lost all his army in the back of his base, like early Castle Age, I agree.
Yeah, he's played amazing here. Like, it is incredible. I felt like, even though Vinchester killed 30 vills, that this would be a win for Sebastian. I did not expect Vinchester to be able to find opportunity after opportunity after opportunity as his own base. Like, his starting TC, his castles and everything were going down like that. Just crazy.
As Vinchester is ending some stable on the on the right side of Sebastian base. And oh, I love this castle. This castle from Vinchester is really good. Taking the stone, taking a lot of farms economy, and as we said, making the game extremely messy for Sebastian. I really love this castle.
And Sebastian is queuing up a lot of eagles right now.
Yeah.
And he is getting elite eagles. So this is where it gets extremely dangerous for Vinchester, especially his economy, where he won't have many castles. But until they are elite eagles, the Skirps could still help out enough. And that castle as well for Vinch could give him access to more stone. And he clicks Paladin right now. What?
That's a decision. I was about to say, now he goes for hand cannoneers, and he is in a really good spot. And suddenly I see, bam, Paladin. I'm like, what? I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah, really crazy.
Maybe he could do both. Maybe he could also mix in some hand cannons, but that is really expensive.
I mean, hand cannoneers, you don't need that much hand cannoneers in your backline to be able to be effective, right? Because hand cannoneers tends to overkill a lot of the units, right? So having only like 10 or 15 of them behind could be good enough. Also, maybe he's thinking like this new castle on the right side of Sebastian base might be able to push back the Albardiers or kill the Albardiers. And maybe I can just like run around, or maybe I can just overring around the economy with my Paladins and it's going to be enough. I don't know. But there's a lot of albs.
He doesn't want to lose these, and it's just such an expensive tech for him to go for. The Eagle tech has paid off so much, and the Halbs just continue to chase down Vinchester's units. Trebs come back again for Sebastian. We do have a pause.
Yeah.
Maybe a moment for Vinchester to think about, pushing this castle for Sebastian at the front of his base, but big moment here. I think pretty soon Vinchester's going to just have to face the music, and he's going to have to fight Sebastian's armies straight up.
Maybe a moment for Vinchester to think about cancelling this Paladin upgrade.
No, not at 6 seconds. No, you commit, baby. You commit. You're too far gone at this point.
I remember Tato saying Paladins in 1v1 is always or almost always a mistake. Yes. It's so expensive, like when you don't have like infinite gold resources, of course. Because now he has Paladins, but like now Sebastian has to realize he makes Paladin. He has no gold anymore in his bank almost. If I can survive the next 10 minutes, I should be in a good spot.
Yeah, especially with El Dorado coming in. Looks like these guys were having some lag, guys, which is why there was pauses. But oh man, Sebastian converted some of those Paladins in the eco, so he has a few of them. There's still Cav running around, but Sebastian's clearing it up. Sebastian still has 77 villagers though, Margougou. What is this game? This is crazy. Like, and also Sebastian's food eco has been disrupted so much he can't actually make many halbs. So he has 17 eagles, but he only has 10 halbs, which means I think Paladin can actually win this game for Vinchester.
I think Sebastian still has a decent economy, right? He has a lot of wood in the banks, 40 on food. I love this castle by Sebastian. He realized the scenario he's in. Like, I need to survive the next 5-10 minutes versus Frank's Paladins. And after the storms, like, when the storm is over, I should be in a better spot. And this castle on the middle of the map by Sebastian, like, is insane, actually. It's so annoying for Vinch to play with this.
Yeah, I think Vinch needs to plant some siege to deal with that. But, like, Vinchester just saw the gold on the right. And Vinchester knows he's about to lose. He could lose this castle. I think the Paladins, if they were in a bit higher number, win that fight and kill all those traps. I think Vinch will lose this castle. We'll see if Sebastian finds the gold. And Sebastian does find the gold. Oh, that's a really big find for him. He needs to keep Vinch off gold.
While Vinchester is taking the fight next to the traps, but as you said, there is not enough Paladins to win this fight. And losing a single Paladin, like, Vinchester cannot afford losing a single Paladin right now. He has to make sure every battle he's choosing to take is a good one for him.
Nice job from Sebastian to use that Paladin he converted and send it into the farming eco. This has been crazy. There's been 250 villager kills in this game. Feels like the majority of them, though, have been Vinchester killing Sebastian. Sebastian has been 30 pop behind most of this game because of the difference in economy. But as people have said for years, Mayans are Mayans, man. Like, it's really hard to stop this Civ. And especially in this matchup, where we could see why so many people hate to play the Franks. because it's so difficult to finish off the Mayans.
Yeah, and especially without hand cannoneers, still a surprise for me. Even 5 or 10 hand cannoneers should be so good for Vinch right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, maybe that's a good fight for Vinchester, actually. I think he has the heal advantage. The Trebs are running away. But still, I mean, he won this fight, but how costly was it? Like, at what cost, right?
Yeah. I mean, if he takes the hill in the front of Sebastian's base, that's not a bad thing. I agree with you. I think like 10 hand cannons with the skirms would be so helpful here. But it's not mobile, which is clearly what Vinch is trying to utilize nonstop. The way he micros his units is so crazy, man. Like, very rarely are we seeing him just patrol into a fight. It's like every single group is being managed constantly.
Yeah, exactly. That's really impressive from both players, actually. Because just imagine it's like the first game of a best of 7, and this is this game. Like, you are being raided everywhere. You have to react everywhere. Like, what a first game to start with.
Oh man, the imposter, the Treb, two Trebs, sorry, died to the Paladin that Sebastian has been microing in Vinchester's eco, and now Vinchester's at 105 villagers, which is pretty much tied with what Sebastian has. And this is the point in the game where maybe you're thinking that Vinchester's going to run out of steam.
Also, Sebastian does have 3 relics. 1 is still not grabbed, but 3 relics, at the end of the day, when you are at 1 hour in-game, relics are pretty important, and that's even in favor of Sebastian. So I think that now Sebastian is in a really, really good position. This might be the last fight, even, maybe.
I think Vinch has enough here. The Paladins are just simply too strong. I think they'll hold.
That's Eldorado Eagle, though.
Yeah, fair. And there's also Halbs.
Yeah.
If there's any Eagles left over and all the Paladins are gone, it could be the last fight. Yeah, I think you're right, Margougou. It might be the last fight. Vinch is going to make a little bit more. That is such a strong composition. Eagles with 100 HP and Halbs, just too tough to stop if you don't have gunpowder, which Vinchester just hasn't made all game.
Yeah, such a key moment to not go for chemistry right away and never produce a single end cannoneer. I mean, I can understand that. Maybe he was thinking like, if the game goes on, and there is no gold on the map anymore, I will lose. So I have to try to finish off this game really fast, right? So let's go for Paladin, let's go for the snowball and things like this. But just 15 end cannoneers, as we said, would have been enough.
I think, I completely understand him not being able to get chemistry in early imp because he had no gold access, right? That I understand. I think since chemistry, I would have loved to see some hand cannons. But I also still maintain, I think Vinchester has actually, this is one of the rare opportunities, I'm going to say this, by the way. I think Vinchester has played better this game, but has simply just been outlasted by his civilization and determination that Vinchester wasn't able to work with here. Mayans are so good in late stages. Sebastian showed that. He lost 160 vills, Sebastian. Still wins this game. Beautiful stuff from him. Yeah,
what a first game, though. Like, it's best of 7. That's the first game. You're like, oof, that's going to be a long one. That's going to be a long set. And impressive from both players, actually. Sebastian, at the end of the day, even if he maybe won, not because of Mayans, because he played insanely well, but the Civ had a big impact in this game, right?
Absolutely.
But the fact that with all this raid, I don't know if you remember the first raid where you said, oh, Sebastian didn't react to the first raid and he lost like 25 vills in 2 seconds. To be honest, at this moment, I was like, oh, that's going to be a tough one for Sebastian because now he will have to deal like with raid everywhere. And I think, I don't know how much APM he had at this moment, but he was reacting everywhere at the right moment after this little mistake where he lost 25 vills in 2-3 seconds.
And the other thing that Sebastian did an amazing job here, like sometimes when you think you have the Civ advantage, and especially when you have 3 relics, you're thinking, okay, I took vill losses, but as long as I stabilize my economy, I win this game. But if he stabilized his economy and only focused around on his own base, he still dies, in my opinion, because what was the critical part of winning this game was that forward castle. So he took losses. Yes, he has the better Civ, maybe. And yes, he had the relics. But he knew, I need to pressure Vinchester in a way that makes it awkward for him. Exactly. And because Vinchester didn't have 2 golds for a large period, because Vinchester got trebbed down by those 4 trebs that basically ended up taking out 3 castles this game, that was the critical moment for me. And that's a moment that a lot of players miss there and just don't do in Sebastian's position.
really good first game for best of 7. And let's go, Sebastian. I mean, I'm cheering for Sebastian. Who are you cheering for? Are you cheering for someone?
I'm not cheering for either player. I love both players, man. And I'm not just saying that. Well, actually, no. I do have to remain impartial here, right? That's the caster's job. But I love them both so much. Like Sebastian, I remember playing back at Voobly in like 2017, 2018, right? We were both like 1800. We've got to see his progression to get to where he is now. Vinchester's been around forever. Both players, some of the nicest guys in the scene. It's hard to root for one, but what I hope is that every game is just like that.
Oh, I agree. I agree on this point.
And my favorite, by the way, I said Vinchester 4-3, but I also said I think it's almost like a coin flip. I think the reason I said Vinch 4-3 is because I had to pick somebody. I could see a Sebastian 4-3 as well, honestly.
On Twitter, I said Sebastian 4-0, but it's on Twitter. My real prediction would be Sebastian for 4-2 or 4-3 as well. I see Sebastian winning, but either it's going to be close, either 4-2, something like this.
Are you saying that you intentionally post wrong predictions on Twitter?
No, I'm saying I post bold predictions on Twitter.
Bold, okay.
That's different.
That is different. I thought like it was either one, you were trying to get more engagements on your tweets by being crazy, because that's kind of the name of the game. Or two, you were using that as an excuse because your predictions were so wrong that you're just like, my Twitter predictions aren't real.
I mean, I learned the post-engagement view, things like this from you, actually, when you posted like your YouTube video, like, what is this new features, auto farm? Like, I was like, oh, he's having this opinion for the engagement on his post, right?
No, that was not for engagement, bro. I believed every word that I said. That was not clickbait.
Okay.
That was not for engagement. I'm not Viper.
Fair enough.
Oh man. Did you ever do like a react video, by the way? I think you said you were going to do a react video to Viper's react video of my video.
I didn't post it on YouTube, but I made a video of Viper reacting to your video of the auto farms. And it was actually, I think I won't post it on YouTube because it was actually super messy, right? Because when you were giving your opinion, then I want to post to give mine, right? But no, because it's Viper time to talk. So suddenly I'm like, okay, time to pause. But Viper editor wants the video to be like dynamic, right? So when he's finished with his react on your opinion, it's your next opinion again. So it's like I have to pause every 5 seconds to react about you, then about Viper, then my opinion, then you're saying something else. Sometimes Viper is saying the same as me, so it's a bit messy, but it was fun.
It was too messy.
Yeah,
I think even just for the joke, you could post that, and even if people can't really like enjoy it, I think people might appreciate it. But maybe that ship might have been sailed, because Margougou, I'm gonna make a farm video part 2.
Oh, really? You know, I'm thinking these days about making a video about my opinions on the actual AOT scene, what we could improve, things like this. And I think it could be really interesting, actually, to get like a DE opinion, like a kind of new player opinions, right? Even if I'm not that new anymore. And yeah, I think that could be cool. And I think I have some controversial opinions sometimes. Like I am saying Autoville production for solo player is not that bad, actually. It's
shut up.
Pretty good.
Shut up. Don't say that stuff, man, because then everything's going to be auto everything.
I'm pretty sure
give more reason.
Your react on this video, if it happened, will be spicy.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. So one thing I noticed here in this game number 2, Kawasan, they both come to the same pond. However, there's no shorefish on like half of this pond. So both players actually had to wander quite a long distance. They end up finding it, and they both scout that the other...
Thank you for the sub, Nataboa. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think is really strong here. You get the free lumber camp, essentially, with the mule cart. So you can add fishing ships faster than other civs.
Yeah.
And that's before we talk about the scouts. And then we have Byzantines. And honestly, like Margougou, for me, Byzantines can kind of counter any civ, depending on if they're safe making it to Castle Age.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. The only problem with Byzantines, though, is that most of the times they do not have that much early bonuses, right? So they can be a bit late to feudal age, and that's why they could lose the water. But if they manage to get a decent uptime, they will be able to win the pawn for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, previous game we got to see Sebastian. I don't want to say he didn't take initiative, but it did feel like he was a bit more on the back foot at times. Part of that could have been due to the Civ, right? And I think the Georgians are going to have to do just the opposite and be the aggressor here. But that's the thing is Sebastian, he's so complete, right? He could be aggressive as well. It's not as though this is a player who's simply going to chill at home.
Yeah.
Like he did at times with the Mayans. I expect lots of movement from him.
And what's actually interesting is that in the Civilization draft, both players picked first Georgians. And they are not using it on the same map, which means like they have different opinions on where Georgians are the best. That's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, that also says that Georgians are maybe just good in a lot of settings, right? Like I think Georgians are absolutely fantastic on a hybrid map, which is what this is, and then also standard land maps. Like they're arguably top 5 on all those maps, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But what could make it interesting here, if Vinchester beats one of the top picks in Sebastian's Georgians, and then has Georgians available, this one would feel really, really good for him draft-wise.
Yeah, and he lost the first game, right? When you are losing the first map, which is the neutral map, like you have home map and neutral map. The neutral map is the first one, usually. And like you need to beat your opponent on one of his home maps, right? So winning this game versus one of the top civ of your opponent would be a first really important step for Vinchester, not to come back into the series because it's only 1-0, right? But to be in a good shape in this series and maybe take it home, I would say.
Yeah, so double dock from Vinchester. This is an interesting one. This pretty much guarantees that he is going to win this pond.
Yeah.
There should be no doubt that that's going to be the case. Some people might argue if you're going one dock against someone else's dock that you're going to win water anyways with the Byzantines. So he wanted to ensure that it was guaranteed. He will make 2 fires right away. What he doesn't have, though, is a barracks yet. And Sebastian has built the stable so long ago, is already coming forward. And what I think makes the Georgians strong, by the way, it's not the regenning of the scouts, which of course is nice. It's the fact that they could go up so quick because of starting with that mule cart and what it does for them.
And Sebastian is stealing all the
This is what Sebastian is trying to do. He's trying to use the timings, and his scout is weak. And if he escapes with it, it's just going to be a brand new scout at some point. This is huge for Sebastian.
How frustrated is it for Vinchester right now? To see
so frustrating.
The TC is not eating anything. He's stealing your cause, killing cause as well. And I'm actually worried for Vinchester. Yeah.
I mean, he might be dead. I mean, he has the fish, right? But to lose out on 600 food because of this, because of one scout going underneath the TC, is crazy. It brings us back to what we talked about in the first game, and people have talked about it a lot. TCs just don't do much damage compared to maybe what it did prior to DE. The devs did actually make a patch, which they said it increased the accuracy. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I heard they fixed the pathfinding as well many times.
Yes, I heard they fixed spectating issues as well, and I haven't felt that yet. But amazing start for Sebastian here, Margougou. We do need to remember the importance of fish. Right now, Vinchester has a free pond and can go up to 6 fishing ships. That can keep him in this game.
I think during the training we had for Warlords with the team, we realized that fishing ships are good, but not that good. And in this type of situation, you might think like if Vinch managed to survive the early pressure, he will be able to take the lead thanks to his fish economy. But actually, if he loses 1 vil or 2, he's behind. He's so behind because the fish, like once the fish in the pond run out, like they are kind of useless, or you have to invest a lot of wood inside them. While a vil like is way better than a fish, right? And also you give up all the priority on the military aspect, like it's happening right now, which is really bad.
Yeah, Vinchester, he thought maybe I could just go spear defense against this But Sebastian has already switched into the next step here, and he's going to loop. Oh, no, he can't loop around because that is blocked off. So risky from Vinch to kind of play. I want to say risky, but I don't think it's risky from him to play like this. I think that it's a risk he had to take because of how bad the losses were with the water buffalo. He has to try and just get up the castle.
And Wallville down. And it's not about only surviving for Vinch, right? It's about how good the army composition of Sebastian will scale in Castle Age. If you have like Crossbow Knight as Georgian versus Byzantine, your composition will scale insanely well. So
Vinch has played. Vinch has played so well here not to be dead. Like, how in the world is he not dead? And he might, if he can build another tower, maybe he could actually survive here. It's crazy. I thought he was out of this game the second I saw Sebastian had the scouts. And then when I saw Sebastian's going to try and run through the follow-up with the archers here, but maybe he will be now. Margougou, the scouts come to the tower. The archers come through. Sebastian finally finds the kills that he was hoping for.
Exactly. And now, GG.
GG. Wow. I mean, honestly, a big part of this just came down to the fact that Vinchester lost those buffaloes underneath the TC.
Yeah.
Cutthroat from Sebastian to take that advantage.
Exactly.
He was still working on water buffalo back at home. That lane was massive, and then the aggression was killer.
But the thing is, you cannot protect your buffalo that much, because if you're playing water, you need to have a lot of vills on wood and gold, which means you won't have that much vills underneath your TC, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy for the scout, especially a Georgians one, to just come, kill, or steal everything. And in the training session, we realized actually that not playing water, like doing what Sebastian did, is actually insanely good. Insanely good. Playing water
so this was something
on one dock is fine. Two, it's too much.
Yeah. So there is like the only thing Vinch can do there, by the way, is you don't want to garrison all of your vills.
Yeah.
Right? So he had 4 vills. If you garrison 3 of them, well, I guess he has 5 around. You garrison 4 of them. As long as one of your villagers is still next to your water buffalo, they won't change. The thing that happens though is when you garrison, hoping to kill the scout, the units then change ownership, and then because the TC just doesn't really hit much. Like some of these shots, it looks like visually the arrows are actually right on top of the scout. And then Sebastian's able to run away there. So Sebastian off to a crazy start here, man. 2-0.
Yeah.
With game 1 being a grind and this game being a stomp.
Looks like my bold Twitter prediction is true.
Did you say 4-0?
I said 4. I said 4-1. 4-1. I said 4-0.
You said 4-1. You said
4-1.
Because what happened was, I know what happened, man, and I'm going to call you out for it in the best of ways. What happened was, in the round of 16, when it was Sebastian Yo, you tweeted 4-0 for Sebastian today. You heard it here first. And then it was 4-3 for Sebastian. So now you wanted a bold prediction in this round, but you felt, maybe I was a little too crazy, actually. I still want to be right. So let's go 4-1 instead.
Exactly. I wanted to gain the trust back of the Twitter's people, So they don't think I'm just saying like something randomly. So I need to give them this little game for Vinchester, so they're thinking like, oh, fair enough, possible. He's from Fox, like he's cheering for him, things like that,
Mm-hmm. So I know the score is 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
And that could be discouraging for Vinchester. But honestly, he's played insane. Game 1, I would be feeling, if I was Vinchester after game 1, that I actually played better. I had to work harder and still lost. And now you look at this and you're like, well, was that even a game? What was that like? You feel like you didn't get to play your game yet. So it's a long series. Sebastian has to win 4 times, so he's only halfway there. We'll see what Vinch has to turn it around. But you got to get a win here, I'd say.
You said the bright side of the psychological aspect for Vinch, but if I was Vinch right now, I would feel like I played that good game 1. Yeah. I still lost. So game 2, I got demolished.
Yeah.
I would feel like that. Okay, that's gonna be a quick 4-0, and I can go chill on the beach with a cocktail,
Is that what you do? Is that what you're thinking about when you're down 2-0 in a series? Is a beach with a cocktail?
No, there is different stage. Like when I'm losing the first game, I'm like, it's fair, it's fine. First game of the day or first game of the set, it's okay. I mean, it's fine the first game. Then you lose the second game, you're like, okay, that's not a problem, but let's move on. We can still win this. And then you lose the third game, and you're like, can I go out of this, please? Like, please. I want to go outside. I want to enjoy the life, not on a video game, please.
I have similar feelings, and I get 3-0'd more than you do. So, oh man. All right, well, here we are, game number 3, and this has just been it's been all Sebastian so far. Now that's a little unfair, of course. If you watch game number 1, game number 1 was very close.
Yeah.
But Vinchester needs some luck right now, and oh my God, the board! Oh, this is gonna get messy here, Margougou.
Oh yeah. That's the moment Vinch needs to get this board to get some confidence back, you know. He's done 2-0, he's like, okay, I need this board. If he lose the board, if he lose the wheel to the board...
Yeah, it's certainly not a good start then. Now, the way this map works is you've got 8 boards around the circle. Players are obviously going to go try and get them. And I think a big reason that Vinchester picked Berbers is just because of the slightly faster villager speed helping in this area. I like the patience, though. Like, he still hasn't tried to take it. We saw players the other day use their own horse to block the horse from the enemy, but Sebastian just hasn't scouted too much because of this. And now Vinch is like,
oh no. He's going back. He's going for it.
He's going to go get it.
He should be fine. He's
yeah,
fine.
He should be fine.
Like Berber speed wheel on the wheel is enough. And look at Sebastian, still being super annoying. And he will lose the horse under the TC. Classic on this map. No? Oh, okay. Good job from both.
So since you're on Sebastian's team, I want to ask you, now, like, ever since Sebastian made the main event, has he been practicing with the team still? Like, how much are you guys talking to him? Because I know what typically happens is players are training with main event players on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, that's what happened most of the time. But let's say if Sebastian has a specific strat that he doesn't want to show to anyone else than his teammates, he can ask us and we train with him. That's no problem. But yeah, most of the time, I think he did most of the training since he's qualified. I saw him training with Sito, I believe. I'm not sure. He trained with some player of the main event, as you said, on the opposite side of the bracket.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's like basically everyone's been. We set it up this way in Hidden Cup as well, so players would know who was on the opposite side of the bracket for good training. That was a player request, and here obviously it's known. So I think like everyone's kind of been playing sets with everyone who's on the opposite side of the bracket. So the only thing you're really revealing people to then is opponents that you might face, like in the finals. You know,
exactly.
In theory, so
the only problem is if you're facing like. Let's say you're facing Mihai and you have Sebastian at the other side of the bracket. They might share the strat because they are in the same team, but you cannot avoid this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
I would say most of the players from the AoE2 community are cool enough to keep what they've... Like, let's say Vinchester is about to play Sebastian and Vinchester is practicing with me. I won't go to Sebastian and tell him everything Vinchester did, right? Because it would be really unfair and really not cool. So I wouldn't do that. But if I train with Sebastian and he asks me like, what do you think I should do? I will give him my honest opinion and I won't take in consideration my Vinchester training, especially if Vinchester did something really spicy versus me or really special, right? And I think that's the case for most of the players in the AoE2 community, which is really cool.
I think so as well, yeah. It's an interesting moral dilemma. It's like, okay, this person trained in secrecy with me, but they're about to play my teammate.
Yeah, that's a
do
bit
I
weird,
share
right?
things? And I never really thought about it until I, started to train a bit. And yeah, I think you would hope for most it's the same, where you just don't share things unless.
Yeah.
Like in my case, I'll say things if I casted something, right? If I cast like 1,000,000 Titans League games, and one of my buddies is going to play a guy, I'm gonna be like, hey, make sure you rewatch that game. Make sure this, that, and the other
exactly.
is something you look at. But if it's something in secrecy, you kind of keep it in secrecy. So Vinchester brought in enough boars to be happy with his life.
Yeah.
Sebastian didn't have as many. I think he was down 1. I think it was 5-3. And so he had to farm quite early here.
Yes.
But that's fine. And he's going to go for scouts. And this is the first time we've seen double scout opening so far in the main event on this map, I think.
Yeah, most of the time, if you're like, let's say the slower sieve, like Vinchester is on this one, you want to open something like Spear Skirm more than Scout, because like if you are behind on the Scout number, suddenly you don't have the map control, you don't have the initiative, and it's really complicated to play not having the initiative in the Scout war. But that's interesting, because maybe he's thinking that the Spearman he will be making with Berbers will be enough to stabilize early on versus the Scout number of Sebastian.
Well, Khmer want this to be as messy as possible.
Exactly.
Hopping in and out of the houses is such a nice bonus, and also their farms. Even if like you're relatively close to the TC, it feels like the farms are just more efficient. I don't know the math on that. I know that there's probably a point in the game where it really becomes clear with the Khmer, but Margougou, I don't know about you, but for me as a player, even if I'm on like 12 farms with Khmer,
it's crazy.
it feels stronger than any other civ in the early game.
Like, I still think that Khmer is really underrated because of their economy. I think their economy is still super underrated. Because we nerfed them. Back in early DE, the bonus was even bigger and it was stupid. I remember Viper even renamed himself Khmer, I believe, back in the day. So, but yeah, still really strong.
Yeah, it's really strong. I think Khmer is such a fun civ because there's also there's pros to their eco and the fact that they could open up with scouts, but then there's cons too, and it is the nature of the civ and its bonuses is players take some risks and play open, and we've seen enough times where players get punished because of that. But right now, Sebastian able to defend himself just with his own scouts, and I think we are going to see a lot more scouts from him.
Yeah, I mean, this map is perfect for full scout, basically, because even the farmers are not that safe, right? Like, the farmer just next to the TC is safe, but look at Vinch Scout just running through the farm.
He got distracted. He was defending and killing a scout from Sebastian at the same time, so...
Yeah, but yeah, even the farmer, like the second layer of farms around the TC is extremely vulnerable to scout, while Sebastian is trying to kill a lot of spears in Vinchester Woodline and lose 2 scouts. That was not the best engagement. Maybe he didn't add the vision on the 2 spearmen on the top, so he was thinking he could maybe pick up this one, but this was not the best fight he could take. And now Vinchester is in a pretty decent position, right? He's past the moment you are really scared of the scout number, because now he has a decent amount of spear on every spot he's vulnerable on. So yeah, and Vinchester is going for a market. That's interesting, actually.
He also, like, I think usually you would never want to sell your stone.
Yeah.
On this map, because people switch into ranged units to kill spears, and you can't just go spear defense. But I think he has correctly realized that against the Khmer, the opponent is going to go for more and more scouts.
Yeah.
And Sebastian continues to focus mainly on that. Yeah, Vinch is also going to mine stone. Very interesting. I thought he was going to go Castle Age. He did go Camel Archers in his series against ACCM, but Castle drop here? That would be pretty wild.
Really interesting. I was thinking about like full market abuse into Castle Age, like all-in night with Berbers kind of makes sense, right? But mining stone with a lot of villager is up to Castle Age super fast though. Only 10 farms? Looks like a Camel Archer play, right? You might be right.
Yeah, and honestly, if he drops a castle where it ranges Sebastian's TC, Sebastian's in trouble. Like, castle on that farming eco could end the game. I think it's really hard to come back from that. So this is... Again, I think Vinchester's played incredible today. Game 2, it wasn't a game. Like, it just wasn't a game that we actually saw a competitive match because of the Water Buffalo incident. And Game 1 was incredibly well fought. It could have gone either way. So Vinch is playing good, and I think Sebastian seems to know what's up here. Sebastian's like, hold on. I got to do something against this guy at the moment. And he comes forward to drop a tower to deny the gold.
When you see the market for your opponent, you realize you're like, oh, maybe he's up, right? I have to do something because I have 0 food in the bank. That's what he did. But okay, Vinchester clicked super fast, but he has to survive during the transition to Castle Age, though. He has a lot of bike. For now, it's going pretty well. But the question is, where does he drop his castle? Does he want it...
On the TC.
On the TC, you think? Okay, because he has no access to gold in this case.
But if you drop a castle at like somewhere else, you're also not going to have access to gold, right?
That's
think-
true.
Like you could build a castle to clear up this tower, or you could build a castle to take out your opponent's TC. I think you got to take the risk.
He could
As long as his vills are walled, he
Yeah.
should be able to build the castle.
And he has a lot of pikes
anywhere.
as well. And what if he builds it on Sebastian's secondary goal next to the TC? So he can even mine the gold there. Could be a really good castle.
Say that again. If he builds it where?
Like, do you see the gold of Sebastian next to his TC? Okay, he's not building
Yeah,
it
yeah,
next to it. But he could have done both at the same time, kinda.
I mean, how has Vinchester made this look so easy? This is crazy.
I
To just
agree.
like make 4 scouts and just go up and just have a castle on this map. 0 villagers lost. It's just, I didn't think this would have been a possibility here. He's
Yeah.
also got camels. The castle will go up. Sebastian might not make it to Castle Age here. That TC might not stay up if Vinchester wants to get real wild and go for a petard or 2.
Yeah, but at one point you're going for petards there. It would be so risky, right?
Come on.
You want it for the show, but you're like, "Ugh." Oh, and Sebastian is taking a final bite. Okay, looks like it was a decent fight. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see it, but
Yeah.
it would be maybe too risky.
The castle's already killed 3 vills, and now the TC is on the way to Castle Age here for Sebastian. But this is, I'm going to guess, in all of his practice games, he never played up against someone who would try this, Margougou. You don't have to spoil, but
No,
I would assume so.
I never saw it in practice, so maybe Sebastian neither. But most of the time when you're playing like full scout, you have like an insane economy when you reach Castle Age, and that's what's scary, right? But in this position, like Sebastian's economy is disastrous. Look at his wood line is disastrous. I mean, his farm number is... And Vinchester is stealing farms?
No, I think... Okay, so this is... Every time I see this map, I see this same bug, Margougou.
Okay.
I think his villagers finish the farm, and they have vision of the enemy farms, and right now, they just automatically walk over there. I saw it with Capoch and Matador, where Capoch actually lost 7 vills because his vills kept wandering underneath Matador's TC. Because there was a vacant farm.
Wait, you're right. The TC will go down. Not even need a petard.
Oh man, and he's got camel archers already, and he still has to take the losses here. This is gonna be Vinchester's game.
That's gonna be super close. And you know what? I think Sebastian is not even realizing this. He's focusing everywhere. He's like, suddenly we'll have a lot of food inside his bank. It will be like, oh nice, and then oh, I didn't click up.
It's so close, Margougou. It's so close. If Vinch garrisons vills right now, it might go down before Castle Age.
Next volley.
It's a down castle. But it's down Castle Age. Oh no.
98%. Oh no.
Wow.
Well.
Wow. I mean,
what a strat.
If you were ready to give up on Vinchester, people, you chose wrong. Vinchester, amazing job here. I mean, Margougou, you gave the analogy of like how one can think after that, right? Game number 1 is so like you feel like you played so good, you still lost.
Yep.
Then game number 2, it wasn't even a game, right? You just got lamed to death. You could be thinking about the margaritas on the beach, or being like, well, you know what? I'm top 8. Whatever, I could be happy with this. And Vinchester was so focused on just the wildest freaking strat, so greedy against so many scouts produced. I mean, it was 16 scouts produced from Sebastian, and Sebastian really didn't find much damage at all here. And well played, Vinch.
It was really well played, especially that I believe Khmer was like the second pick for Sebastian. So it was one of these picks, then both players can pick the same sieve, the mirror picks, right? So it's really important for Vinch, because Alpine was also Sebastian's home map. So he beat Sebastian on his home map with a sieve disadvantage. So it's actually a really important win for Vinchester. It's a key moment in the set.
Yeah, well played from him. Sebastian, if you're wondering, well, what's Sebastian have done differently? He's got to go archers earlier there, honestly.
Yeah.
He's got to go scout and archer. Yeah.
Either he makes like just 1 or 2 scout more than Vinchester, so he can have the priority and the pressure. Either, as you said, he's adding archery range way earlier. But he could have just went like up after like 5 or 6 scout. He goes up and then he just plays from there, right? He had TCs, he plays Scorpion Knight versus Camel Archer, and it should be decent.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think, and to explain why someone wouldn't do that, when you're playing with Khmer, you just like to fall into this thinking where it's like, we spam farms and we spam scouts and we dominate, baby. That's what
Yeah.
we do. You don't think about anything else. It's kind of like playing with Magyars almost, where you're just like scout, 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 just because they're so good. And then there are situations where you wish that you played a transition of some kind. So
Yeah. That's good. We have a set.
yeah,
We
we have
have
a
a
set.
set.
And I really like really like Vinchester's civilization for the next one. I'm not sure if Sebastian's next civilization is fantastic or not, but I like the idea behind it. He's actually picked the poles.
I think we saw Pause once already, or maybe it was last Warlords with MBL. I don't remember. Oh no, I think it was Doubt with Pulse. I don't remember exactly, but Pulse is a good sieve as you can wall up on this map pretty easily, I would say. And so you can have like a lot of space in the back to develop your farm economy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can potentially have space in the back on this map,
AV fun.
but it does require a fair amount of work. Here we have it, game 4.
Yes, I think you can beat
the map is
Game
mired,
Knowledge
and on this
player, and I'm
map,
good. Thank you. How are you?
there's boars towards the
Hi,
middle,
friend.
but it's usually like 2 separate groups of 5. And players will try and bring in as many boars as possible, and also try and stop the opponent from getting boars with their horse here.
Yeah. So let's see how many boars each player will get. I can tell you that in practice, I won't say too much in case Sebastian wants to use this, maybe in semi-final, I don't know. But in practice, we saw some wild early strategy on this map. With the boars and such, I can tell you that there is wild things. Especially Dark. I would say Dark in Fox is this player that is like, come on, let's try this. Trust me, it can work. Then you play versus him, it fails completely. And you're like, you think he's done with it. And he's like, no, let's try again. I have another idea. It's gonna work this time. Just a little details. And you end up trying the exact matchup, the exact strategy, the exact same strategy like 5 times in a row. And at the end, he's like, okay, it's bad.
That's funny.
But sometimes you find an insane strategy that nobody would have think about thanks to this. So it's fair. It's fine.
Well, yeah, every team needs a cook, you know?
Yeah. We have
Everyone
different
needs a
cooks.
chef.
Like, I think Dark is the cook for this type of crazy things. And for the early Veil Rush and things like this, like sometimes there is some maps, I can see that the Veil Rush is insane. And I tell all my teammates, like, you have to Veil Rush this. It's so good. And then it's like, no, that's just because you are totally crazy, Margougou, in this game. I like, no, trust me, let's try. Then they get wrecked and they're like, okay, fair enough.
Are you surprised right now that Sebastian hasn't tried to bring in his boars a little bit faster? I am.
I don't know.
He's really taking his time here, but he is paying attention. And Vinchester thinks he's going, to safety here.
Oh,
and he actually runs right towards Sebastian's horse. Uh-oh. That's going to be a dead Vil. And the de-aggro from Vinchester with the Palisade was sick, man.
Yeah, that was really well played. Especially when you have like a horse blocking your Vils. It's really complicated, right? But well done. And Sebastian will just... I like when he's like shooting an arrow and it's like, oh, I have to go back and the boar is not following. Like the same thing. You go, if you want to hit and run, but the boar is not following. You have the horse around the corner that wants to kill your Vil. You're like, what should I do? And at the end of the day, you get the boar home. Well played. And I actually think it's not a problem to not rush all the boars early on, right? Because most of the time, especially versus Vinchester, Vinchester is not this type of player. Like, it's not MBL, right? MBL would send a Vil instantly and would try to steal all the boars. But Vinchester, I think, is more of a safe approach, guys. And the safe approach on this map is to take like 2 boars, then you take again 2 boars, but you don't send a Vil forward because if the player sees you with his horse, and actually I believe players does have the vision on the middle, you lose your Vil 100% of the time almost.
Okay, makes sense. So both players are going to head to feudal here. Sebastian did forget his mill, or at least it's later than Vinchester's was. So he will be up just a villager behind. And an important thing to point out to viewers, because it's so awkward to realize, is that these are actually trees here, these reeds. So as the players try and wall, they often try and use the reeds to wall.
Yeah.
They're just 50 wood trees, though, so you really don't want to chop there forever, and you want to go exactly where Vinchester's going, to the back corner, or what Sebastian is doing is fine as well. Those are the normal trees. So
how sad is the Sebastian follow-up? Like, you have the berries 2 tiles away.
Well, it is questionable with any other civ, I guess, right? But with the polls, it's clear that he just wants to farm like a madman.
My theory is he needed a second building. He forgot it first. He was like, oh, I need a meal fast. And then he placed a meal on a random spot. And he ended there.
I mean, his food situation isn't great. He doesn't have anything on food. So I don't actually know if he'll be able to afford scouts and also villagers when he makes it to feudal age here because of his situation. Look at the wood count for him. It's like, almost feels like if he was arriving to castle age and he wants to drop 3 TCs or something.
He's dropping a lot of farms, but Sebastian,
he's gonna stop.
Like, I would love...
the last second.
Oh, nice. I was like...
oh no, he built one!
Oh no, there is one imposter. Look, he's building all the farms.
Okay, well, he completes 2 of the farms.
Oh, no.
Before the horse collar upgrade, with Pulse, 10% of the food income from each farm after completed around the full work comes in as a boost. Gonna go crazy with that. But yeah, I don't think he can make scouts, and Vinch can make scouts, so he's better look out.
Like, the thing is, Sebastian had the Margougou in his villas, right? He was like, bro, I'm hungry, I cannot wait, I'm making the farm. And,
man.
He lost, how much food did he lose? 25, 35, something like this? It's fine, I guess.
I mean,
Not
I think
too
the
bad.
bigger issue is the fact that he didn't have the full work on the berries, and he wasn't taking enough food where he can now farm, make vills, and make scouts. That's my bigger issue for him. He also just lost his horse, so no scouting long-term on what Sebastian... what Vinchester is doing, as Vinchester's going for some nice walls here.
Yeah, I really like Vinchester's wall. They are a bit ambitious, but if you manage to get them up, he will have so many space in his back to boom, which is really cool and really comfortable. While Sebastian wall, I think it's fine, but maybe on the south he could have walled to the edge of the map with the forest instead of this little wall, so he will have a lot of space for farm, because now he's a bit, I don't know, he does not have that much space, I would say.
So think about game number 1. Vinchester had control, and it was just so good, right? He obviously ended up losing. Game number 2, again, got lamed to death, wasn't really a game. Game number 3, Vinch gets the castle age, convincing an early castle, wins the game. Thinking back to how Vinch played this map and others against ACCM, and just his unit control when he's the one being aggressive, it's so good. And it helps you a lot in his position because he can make decisions. So Sebastian really needs to make sure that he does still have army to threaten Vinch, and it looks like he does right now.
Yeah, and he's full wall soon as well. So Vinchester's position is pretty good. The question is, what do you do on castle age? Are you going for a castle again? Are you just booming? I don't know. Because booming
really
versus
like,
pause is a bit scary, right?
Yeah. I really like the idea of cab archers personally.
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know if that's ideal. And the more I look at the resources collected right now, and the fact that Sebastian hasn't lost vills, and the fact that Sebastian's walling up, Sebastian's really flying right now with eco. Like, he's going to be in a good spot. And because his TC is a bit further away from the middle, he can actually easily full wall. Whereas Vinch is just hoping that the opponent doesn't run through the TC, which obviously players do every time they have an opportunity these days, it feels like.
I mean, yeah, it's probably a nice move. Look at Vinchester wall. It's so big. It's so big. He has so much space. That's crazy. I'm zooming out a bit, and it's like, man, like you can boom for 3 civilization there. You have space for 3 guy.
Wow, he's actually going to stone here, Margougou. What in the world? I was not expecting Rattan archers here.
I don't know. I feel like playing Rattan Archer versus Pauls while Sebastian wants to run under this TC. I mean, it's a bit of a risk, right? Because you don't know where are Vinchester Scout. Maybe he's just being a bit annoying.
Yeah, he keeps faking that he's going to do it. and forcing Vinch to garrison because it's idle time for Vinchester, basically. It's extremely annoying. And then Vinchester might never garrison, and Sebastian might actually run through if there's no army here, of course, from Vinch.
And I'm a bit scared for Vinchester. Like, as you said, this tone transition is a bit weird, right? Because it's gonna slow down his castle age so much, especially versus a civ-like Pole that is really, really fast, that has an insane economy to go up really quick.
Yeah, I mean, the build from Sebastian's just insane. Like, he has the resources to go castle age already.
Pole's build is insane,
yeah. It's the Poles, man. If they can get the walls down. I mean, Vietnamese have good eco as well, right? They've maybe are seen as one of the best economic civs too. But if Poles can full work, good luck stopping them.
And like the resources difference is like 500 more resources for just food, 500 food extra more for Sebastian. Just with this, that's crazy actually.
Yeah, and that food, you know, when you get to castle age, you can then get additional eco upgrades, and then it just continues to grow and grow with the way the Poles bonus works. But, you know, if there ever was a question on Poles, I would just say, what's your army comp going to be? Looks like Sebastian's going for the safe approach to just make more scouts to go light cav.
And I really like that Vinchester is walling in front of his TC, because I was actually scared if Sebastian, he will be up before his opponent, he can go light cav and just run under the TC and kill everything. So that's actually a really good wall by Vinchester.
Yeah, I didn't know he could do that, honestly. I was just about to say I think he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know you could wall on the sand terrain, but it does look like he can actually get the full wall down, which is... It doesn't look the greatest, but it gets the job done, right?
What are the odds we see a Doc early castle age and some demos?
I'm going to say 0%.
Oh.
No, not 0. Sorry. You said early castle age, right? I'm going to go with 10%. Okay. But I think later on, I wouldn't hate it.
That is not part of this game, but I actually think like late castle age, or when your economy is set up, having some demos or even some navy is actually a decent move.
Yeah.
I'm a bit scared of Vinchester though. No, it's fine. He has some weak walls and some vulnerable here and there, but he should be in time to reroll in case he needs to.
Sebastian will just go arena style, and he will boom, he will get relics, and he will adapt from there. Very reminiscent of how other players have played this in the other quarterfinals. Hera was one that comes to mind, excuse me, where he just wanted to boom and adapt. And honestly, it's really strong. I also think it really suits Hera's style, of course, but it really does feel like what this map turns into more than anything. Even thinking back to Wandering Warriors Cup, where this map was like 2 years ago or something.
Wandering Warrior Cup. Oh, I remember this tournament. I played in it, and my defeat led to a video called The Legends of Duidi?
Duidi. Oh yeah.
I was the opponent losing. It was me.
I know. I remember very vividly, and I remember how disappointed you were, and you told me that it was at a time where you were just starting to make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
And you told me how disappointing it was that was a video, and also got a lot of views on the channel as well, Margougou.
I remember some French telling me, "Oh, it's fine. I think it's the Smurf of Bad Koala." I knew it wasn't Bad Koala, but I said, yes, it wasn't for to face Bad Koala round 1.
Yeah, it just Duidi is. I'm sure you know the story, but what made that so cool is that guy just plays Nomad maps pretty much, and it was a Nomad only tournament, so he did well, and you've become much better since. I don't think you'd lose to Duidi now.
But I mean, back in the days, I was like Arabia bot, especially. So playing Nomad, not my cup of tea, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. Look at Sebastian's decision making here. So he is keeping an eye on things with the light cav. He sees the castle from Vinch. I like that castle from Vinch. I think that's a really smart castle to protect that area. But then Sebastian, instead of just booming, is going to try and go for a siege push on the other side, which is perfect. Vinchester really doesn't have anything to stop siege right now, and this could get out of hand for Vinchester if he doesn't notice that.
And especially that Vinchester is only on 2 TC, actually. So the economic discrepancy getting bigger and bigger. And like
he's going imp.
What? Oh, yes, you're right. Imp into what? Into
There's
Rat
no
and
way
Archer?
this works. This is really ambitious. Yeah, imp, rats, and archers, but I mean, economically, he's going to be in a real weak spot, right? Because one of his TCs is imping, and then the other TC is producing villagers. Against 3 TCs producing villagers and the Polish economy, Sebastian is going to fly here.
I remember in Eden Cup, Dave saying Vinchester either cooked the food so well, either burned it. I have the feeling on Alpine, he cooked the food really well. But on Myred, I think he will burn it really. Yeah, it's going to be really burned. Look at this economy. He clicked MPS, but all the vills are running away on the south. So he has 0 on food soon. Oh, I don't like this strategy.
I will say, strategy maybe has more of a chance if Sebastian doesn't siege push, right?
Yeah.
Like the siege push, the position
true.
of the siege push is just perfect. Like if Vinch is just chilling against Lycaf, this has so much more opportunity, but this seems like the perfect way to really slow down whatever Vinchester's trying to cook up here.
Exactly, and it's not like it's super expensive for Sebastian, right? As I like to say, once you have like once you are like 3TC booming, you can do whatever you want because your economy is growing and growing non-stop. So if you feel you wanna push in this matchup, go for it because your economy is set up already. You can go for it. You have a good economy behind. So Sebastian just got a really good economy setup, 3TC right away, good vil advantage, and then he was like, okay, where can I die? How can I lose this game? If my opponent cooked something, I might lose this game. How could I manage to avoid this cook to happen into my face and to surprise me? Let's just go for a little siege push. It doesn't cost too much, but it's like an edge insurance, right? It makes sure he's not surprised by anything. And that's well played by Sebastian.
The thing is, Sebastian, he doesn't know just what type of cook Vinchester is.
Yeah.
And there's a castle from Vinchester going up right next to Sebastian's base. There's no army here to stop this. Sebastian's going to go back in to raid Vinch. Vinch is just going to use TCs in the castle to protect himself.
Yeah.
And that castle goes up. Things get very interesting here. We did just finish a game where the Imp TC went down for Sebastian. And all of his TCs are right next to this.
That would say 26 minutes, you don't have the vision of all the map with outpost. You're so bad, Margougou. That's what Dot would have told me right now. And actually, I think he's a bit right on this one. He's pushing on the top. You gotta get some outposts on the south. Sounds like a details, but this type of details could have avoided the forward castle, and Sebastian's life would have been way easier if he could have stopped this castle.
Vinchester can't exactly afford Bracer right now, so it's not like these rats and archers are that great. He did get ballistics though, and he is up against mainly Lycav. Sebastian, I think, does need to click Imp here though. I think you've got to do it. Sell off some food, click up, but you got to click up in the TC that is furthest away from the push because your base is going to start falling apart right now.
Actually, do you want to click up? I think if you click up, by the time you're up, you're dead. Like, you lost all your farm. Maybe the play is just mass knight with the unique tech, but it doesn't have enough for a castle though. Oh.
Well, Margougou, I'm normally the guy who says, screw Imp, let's just spam more knights, and then I'm used to dying. So that's actually, I'm fighting my own instincts there, but it's nice to know that we think the same there. My thinking was, like, you could still, because of this economy, make knights while you're on your way to Imp. You just delay the knights right now. The issue for him is he doesn't have enough on gold. He's about to fix that, but this is... this is a situation similar to what Vinchester did against ACCM with Camel Archers on Spiral. Like, he's really good with ranged unique units and these Imp timings. I'm not ready to give up on Vinch right now, Margougou.
I mean, if Sebastian had this unique tech on balls to get cheaper knights and cheaper... I mean, I would love this knight spam, but he doesn't have it, I believe. He doesn't have a castle, so he doesn't have it. So it's just like a standard civ with really good economy spamming knights versus growing mass of Rat and Archer with Bracer right now.
You look at him expand, though. Sebastian is really expanding elsewhere. He knows how important it is to do that. But Vinchester's micro, I mean, he's going to kill off these monks. He does lose 2 rats and archers. Nice job. I really like how Sebastian continued to pressure in some way. That is so difficult to continue to pressure while also being attacked. Is so critical here.
Yeah, that's really important. So Vinchester attack is not that sharp, right? he has to focus
man.
on multiple places. And looks like Sebastian wants to take the engagement. Will he be in time to cut off the Rattan from the castle?
No, I think the Rattans could always just run right by. They have enough mobility, but that is a lot of units there from Sebastian. Meanwhile, he is losing his forward push, so it's important that he gets kills here. Keep in mind, the castle's garrisoned, so the castle helps with attacks. The Rattan archers still could hop inside that castle, but Sebastian has done what you've said, Margougou, and he's just flooding army to push back this push from Vinchester.
Looks like it's gonna be a clear up for Sebastian.
Murder
Maybe murder holes?
You honestly need murder holes.
He's sword
he just bought... Yeah, maybe he's not going to go for murder holes.
He has a university, though. But
holes are just insane.
And
holes
keep in mind that he doesn't have the technology. Just imagine if he has it. It would be even more stupid.
Sebastian's going to try again to damage Vinch here. Vinch is going to get chemistry now, so that will add some attack to the Rattans, but this is a combination of one of the best economies in the game from the Poles, spamming knights, which is what they're best at, against like a very low eco approach from Vinchester in the first place. And it's almost
63 vills is really
like
low.
11,000 more resources collected from Sebastian here. Crazy.
And no Zlatcha privileges. So I think Vinch is cooked. I think he burned the food a bit on this one. But nice reaction from Sebastian though.
Sebastian could still click up to Imp here though, right? Like now we are casting. We are not chill. We are not in this moment. We would love to be able to get to these stages of tournaments, Margougou. You could do it. Me, I'm gonna stick with casting.
Well.
Ah, get out of here, Margougou. If you do it, then I believe I could do it. That's how I feel.
If I do it, I'll have a little thought about you. When I will be there, I will be like, oh, I'm playing Fortnite as well. You would love to be there.
I'm glad you didn't take offense to me saying that if you could do it, I can.
I mean, I thought about it, but then you know, in the rest of the sentence, it was pretty chill. So I was like, okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Oh man, oh man. Okay, this is about to get crazy. There are 20 Rattans. There's about to be 20 knights though, and Vinch, you gotta move your Rattan archers off your castle foundation, friend.
But look
you just fight it if you're Sebastian. You gotta engage here.
How many knights are in queue? Like, that's crazy. And Sebastian is massing Ram as well in this siege workshop. I think, and he has 2 siege workshop like just next to the castle actually. Ugh. Yeah. I wouldn't be too confident if I was Vinchester, but I mean, Vinchester feels that he has to do something, right? He sees the score, he realizes he's playing versus Poles, the economic discrepancy is massive, he has to try something, and when you are behind in the game, the best way to push your opponent into a choke, into a fail, is to make his life difficult, and that's what Vinchester is trying to do right now.
Yeah, and when you're behind this far in eco and you've committed to a push, you have to continue to push.
Yeah.
Vinchester is going to see these knights, and he's going to be like, what?
He's gonna be
the forward gets deleted. The Rattans have to run, and that castle will not stay up for very long.
Vinchester is like, okay, now I have to eat and run into the rest of the map, and maybe I can get rid of all these knights.
Yeah.
And
maybe. Meanwhile, you're making a unit that you have to produce out of castles, and Sebastian is just wrecking them with knights anyway. Sebastian is on his way to the Imperial Age. This castle will go down, including the next. And Sebastian is about to be 3-1 up against Vinchester in a good position to go to the semifinals.
Yeah. And I mean, Vinchester is not resigning because his opponent is not Imp yet, but okay, he's resigning.
I mean, crazy performance from him today. I understand, yes, polls, and yes, the fact that Vinchester did go for a very low eco approach here, but can we just talk about the amount of military buildings here from Sebastian? He's got like 12 stables on screen. Yeah. He's got eco everywhere, Margougou. Like, you just keep looking around, and he just expanded full work after stable after mining camp. Beautiful play from the kid, and now he's 1 win away from the semifinals.
Yeah, and I really hope he will take the next game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Sebastian, if he wins, already he has accomplished more in his career, making it, I think, to this point, the top 8. And what no one seems to be talking about is the fact that you are his teammate, and you are the reason that he's playing so well, Margougou.
That's nice.
It might not be the case,
You're
but I
saying
do
that,
think
I
on a
was like-
serious note, all the Fox players have really stepped it up over the past year. And so it's been cool. Like you could definitely tell that the practice and the strategizing of your squad has benefited the whole team.
Yeah, that's true. I think we improved a lot, and that's cool, especially strategically speaking, because I think maybe not dark, but most of us were really like into, like we were the classic, not Arabia bots, but we loved Archer, we were about micro, about execution a lot, and having like this type of strategy in our books as well now makes us way more dangerous for other players, because they cannot just expect a strategy from us and just adapt, because we have so many strategies that we can do these days that it's complicated for them, right? So they can
And Pulse is the perfect example
exactly
of a strategy that I would have never expected Sebastian to do like a year and a half, 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I would have always described, and I did describe Sebastian as a player who would primarily go Archer timings and eco.
Yeah.
And so he has worked his way out of that. And I mean, it really does feel like this is just a train that cannot be stopped right now. I'm a big Vinch guy. I love the fact he's going for Arena, but Vinch has to win 3 straight now. It's going to be really tricky for him to do that.
But the thing is, if Sebastian wins 4-1 this one, my next guess on Twitter will be Sebastian will win Warlords. No?
Like if Sebastian wins here, right? If he makes it to the semi, he faces who does he face in the bracket? He would face
no, is it GL? I think it's
he would
GL.
face the winner of Viper Doubt.
Oh.
And Sebastian already beat Doubt in Thalassocracy finals.
Yeah.
And it looks convincing. Viper, maybe not a matchup we've seen recently, but I mean, Sebastian makes the semis, he could beat anybody, dude. Straight up.
Yeah, and Viper is, I mean, he's pretty busy with the live these days. So, yeah. I mean, that's definitely Sebastian might have a lot of chance. Maybe not favorite, certainly not favorite, but he has a chance to go to the final. I just imagine Sebastian on the final, S-tier final. Insane.
It would be sick performance. I mean, I think that he, again, it's a weird thing, but he just looked the part. Like Sebastian, when I was watching the first game in his series against Yo, he felt top 5 to me. He just did. He felt top 5, top 6. Now he ended up losing 3 straight after that game. You know, which shows you how difficult it is to show that consistency and how good Yo was. But here we are on Arena. And I thought Vinch would maybe go Humans. He actually goes for Bengalis. And then it's Bohemians for Sebastian. And
Sebastian managed to get Bohemians as a last pick in his draft, which is crazy to me. Like, Bohemians is top 4 on Arena, at least.
Yep.
And having them, like, that late in the draft, in the Civilization draft is crazy. So, yeah.
I think we had a bit of a mind game situation here because there was Cumans on the draft for Vinchester, and that was picked before Bengalis. And then there was Turks from Sebastian on the draft, and that was picked before Bohemian. So this is how I think this went. I think Sebastian saw Cumans and said, okay, I'm going to be up against Cumans. Or I'm going to potentially be up against Cumans. So I'm going to go for something he doesn't expect by going Bohemians. And then Vinch says, he thinks I'm going Cumans. So I'm going to try and get Bengalis against Turks.
Yeah, exactly.
And because Bengalis against Turks is insane because Turks don't really have much of an answer to elephants at all without Howl or Skirm. So this matchup now, I don't actually think one Civ is clearly better. But I do think it's not what they were expecting.
Yeah, I agree on this point. And I think Bohemians is a bit better, I would say. Bohemians has so many things.
With what unit comp would be your goal here with Bohemians? Would it be aggressive? Would it be boom? And what's the goal?
Well, first, I think the things that makes Bohemians that good is the mining upgrade for free. Like, they have so many options thanks to that. And what could be their options on this matchup? I mean, Bengali has a great boom and a great Monk Rush potentially. And I think in late games, Hoofniche should be really good because even if people think Monks counter Hoofniche because they can convert him, right? I think Uftinche does one-shot almost a monk. So it's not that easy to convert an Uftinche in late game. So I would say for Sebastian, late game should be something like a trash unit in the front line, either Skirms, either Albs, might be Skirms versus Bengalis. And then you have some Uftinche and some monks behind. And you should be in a good spot.
Vinchester going up already could still be a very fast castle here, but here's my counter argument, right?
Yeah.
Bohemians never go scouts, right? They never do it. It's almost always like fast castle monk or unique unit or boom.
Also,
so you could pretty much
we have a pause.
You could pretty much expect, as we have a pause, that that's not going to be the case.
And also, Vinch is known for his archer tower rush on arena.
Yes.
So it could be. And looks like, look at the vills.
So you don't have to worry about, your monks getting relics, is my point with Bengalis. When Bengalis make the next stage, they get 2 extra vills, right? And he's rushing fast feudal, which in theory is taking advantage of that a bit earlier. Same when he makes it to castle. And then these guys are fairly close quarters. They're fairly close by to each other. So, I don't know if there's going to be enough time to get to the Hoof needs to upgrade if there's a lot of pressure. But here comes Vinch. He is the one who didn't patent this strategy back in 2018-ish. I believe that is actually credited to Stark. Everyone says it's Vinch, but it was actually Stark, if my memory serves me correctly. And then Vinchester perfected the Tower Rush, Archer push on Arena.
Okay. And actually, Sebastian map is not that good. He has a gold in the back, but the stone and the gold on the left is pretty forward as well. And Vinchester is pushing right away on the right spot. It's a bit lucky.
Yep.
But yeah, that's not going to be that easy. While Sebastian is adding some palisade wall behind stone wall to reinforce the defense.
Yeah,
Let's see.
what you have to try and do here if you're Sebastian is still make it to Castle Age and siege push this back.
Yeah.
It's going to be tricky, but Vinchester is going to have to break through the walls, which will obviously take some time. Tower is going to go up. Sebastian does not have Loom right now, so continuing to wall up behind this will not be possible. For now, he only has the Palisade wall waiting for Vinchester.
The Tiger is coming. Defend Sebastian, interesting. Yeah, let's see how Sebastian will build up his defense. Most of the time you want to kind of build palisade around the spot that is being attacked to try to contain the aggression. And as you said, buy time for your silver chop.
He does have Loom in Q. He is going to wall behind. The blacksmith is really cheap. He's got tons of wood. Like, he could go blacksmith market no problem here if you're Sebastian. And he should still be able to click up to Castle Age. I think as long as he walls this for now and then relocates to his other gold, that's the right play, and that's what Sebastian is doing right now.
He's not rushing the wall though, and Vinch is soon inside.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to be careful, Sebastian. He's not panicking, that's really good. But the hole on the right is scaring me a bit, actually.
Oh, true.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, one house and he's probably okay there, right?
One house, then your opponent can chop the tree. He's inside and you're like...
Oh, true. The tree could be a big problem.
Yeah.
Well, Vinch wants to immediately deny something.
Yeah,
and so that's what he's going to get. So he's going to drop the tower. Sebastian dropping more walls, and we'll just continue to relocate. And Vinch is going to check now.
Wait, it's still
and Sebastian
open.
should
Sebastian,
check now.
Please. Are we playing like this?
Don't go in, Vinch. Don't go in. Don't go in. Don't go in.
Oh no. This is this house. Let's see if he rolls behind the tree. Oh no.
You need the house behind the tree.
At
this level, they should know that tree could be chopped.
I mean, you have so many things to think about, right? These little details, you can easily forget about it. Oh, and Sebastian is rolling this way. Oh, I'm scared.
I think, no, he has time. Like, he will see Vinch coming over, and it will dawn on him that Vinch will try and chop that tree. Right? This should be a tree hop for Vinchester or a tower.
Oh, he sees it? Okay, he's rolling behind it.
Ooh.
Perfect. But this tower is really good for Vinchester.
Yeah. So the general idea behind this strategy is to have enough archers inside the towers where it makes it really difficult for the siege to take it down.
Yeah.
But if you get I really feel that if you are experienced against it, you could still get to 2-3 mangonels, and with repair villagers, the towers go down anyways.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it is a strategy that can be beaten if you're relaxed, which Sebastian has been here.
Yeah, you need to be relaxed, and also the other strengths of this strategy is that in the meanwhile you are having a way better economy at home. Like we can see Vinchester is spamming a lot of farms, and when Vinchester will goes up to the next stage, he will have a way better economy setup. He will have way more farms. Even if he's a bit behind on the ville number, he might have way more farms and way more resources collected, which will, and so he will be able to go up to for a fast imperial behind that most of the time. That's what we said with Yo, right? If Yo didn't lose 8 of his vills, he would have been able to go up with a way better economy, and he might have win the game, right? So I think Vinchester is trying this. He will buy time with his archer to get a really good economy behind this and be able to fast him it behind. But I'm not sure if the fast him versus Bohemian is that good, but could be an idea.
It is also possible in some scenarios with this strategy that the player who has opened up the opponent's base will add a stable and go scouts. It's unlikely with the amount of walls, but like I've seen a lot of scenarios where as the mangonel almost goes down, that if you make a stable and make like 3 scouts, it just makes it so much more difficult for a player in Sebastian's position to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Because the natural follow-up for Sebastian is like second TC, then you're thinking like, I'm Castle Age first, I should be able to grab the relics, right? But if your opponent is adding some scout, then suddenly it's not as easy. And we can see that Vinchester left 1 vills in this tower to be able to repair it a bit. He didn't make Yo's mistake of leaving 8 vills in the corner.
But I mean, this is still really well played from Sebastian, and it's honestly, I think he's played this better than he did against Yo's tower rush. And I'm saying that considering Sebastian's base was so good to defend from Yo's. This base is, you know, Vinchester's at least been able to do something.
I have to say versus Yo, if Yo doesn't make this huge mistake of trapping 8 of his own vills, I think the game was totally over. Yo had like 15 farms versus 0 farms. Sebastian at this stage of the game had like 3-minute idle TC with only 1 villager on food. It was like 1 single farm. And he was pushing Teuton's tower. So literally, if Yo didn't make this mistake, I think Yo would have won this game. Nice.
That's another sick attack round from Sebastian. That's against something he did against Yo when Yo tower rushed him as well.
Exactly.
He also kept his scout alive, which is so good, dude. Like, so many small things Sebastian has done such a good job, and he knows the scouts are coming. So he drops a market foundation as well. I mean, I could not say enough good things about how well Sebastian has played this tournament. And he now just deletes the market. He doesn't actually need it. Builds a house there anyways. God, is he playing amazing right now.
He will kill his own scout. You know, that was a prediction.
Wow.
Because you said too much good things, so usually he's having a fail after it. But no.
Well, that's when I cast other players, Margougou. Okay. I won't name names, but definitely not casting with one right now.
Okay, let's see what Vinchester follow-up is gonna be actually. Is it gonna be light curve? Is it gonna be boom? Because his economy, look at his bank. He has a big bank. Yeah. So he's going for more crush behind this.
I like adding a bit of eco on this because the fast imp is strong, but I think it's especially strong when your opponent is really stretched thin. And it seems like Sebastian's done a really good job. That Sebastian's going to be able to do other things. Sebastian, though, even getting pikemen now, knowing his opponent's going to have...
Thanks for the raid, Droza. Thanks you.
And being aware that he needs it. Very well played.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, we had a lot of action in Feudal Age. We had the Mangonel push on tower, but at the end of the day, the economy is exactly the same almost. That's pretty funny. But now, I mean, we have an interesting push, for Sebastian. We have some pikes, some monks, some Mangonel on the field. It's not gonna be that easy for Vinch. I think the best reaction for Vinch would be to just go full monks, I guess.
Oh, man, the pikeman just got killed. Sebastian just killed his own pikes.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. He was attacking the stable, and the pikeman went in, and now he needs to leave. And Vinchester is on the prowl. That's a big moment. Margougou because he can now make more light cav to around the map, and he can come out here and get this relic and breathe for a moment.
Yeah, exactly. It gave some space to breathe for Vinchester, and then he has time to grab these 2 forward relics. And that's pretty cool. I also really like how Vinchester is placing his leftover archers on the right side of the map, just to make sure this relic is not going in Sebastian's hands. So that's really well played by him. And Vinch is on 2 TCs behind this, not adding a 3rd one. He could have had a 3rd one way earlier. So looks like it's gonna be some fast Imperial-ish approach for Vinch, at least like a 2 TC fast team in sort of a in-between strategy. Honestly, I like it.
Vinchester is also clearly expecting to lose the control of the middle, and he's taken that 1 relic into his base. And he's going to snag it with a new monastery. That way, Sebastian can't just take out the monastery and steal these relics. It's really smart thinking.
Yeah, really well played. Yeah, he's trying to sneak the 2nd relic, as you said. Once again, Sebastian being super active with his scout. Maybe he will be able to spot it. Looks like
he's looking. He knows there's got to be a monk out there.
Yeah.
But Vinchester kind of protecting the monk, and that is a Bengali monk as well. So it is extremely unlikely that that's going to be an issue for Vinch. And Vinch is going to click up to Imp here. He blocks and kills the scout. Well played, Vinch. And if Vinch can drop a castle to defend his base, this push from Sebastian should not go much further.
If Vinch dropped this relic with these monks and go for the 3rd one on the top instantly, he might be able to get 3 relics, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah, I think he should do that, but he might be preoccupied. And yeah, there he goes. Yeah, so he could have 3 relics. And now this is where I would drop 2 more TCs with Bengalis.
Actually,
I don't think you should.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense in some ways because you get the extra vills, but I think the reason it is bad is because you need all your stone for another forward castle in Imp, so it's really tricky.
But I see what you mean. Like it's so satisfying to when you goes up and suddenly you're like, boop, a lot of vills, you're like, oh, let's go. But I think that's a bit of a troll. Imagine suddenly Vinchester dropping like 6 extra TC full abuse market. Let's go. He's booming. No. I think he's just gonna go monks. Oh, he's adding archer range? Maybe arbalest? I mean, he has 6 leftover archers already, so why not build towards this 6 archer? He has fletching already, 6 archer. Maybe he's thinking like, it's not that expensive to go into some crossbows already. Interesting,
Sebastian,
I like this idea.
Sebastian's trying to force the Imp timing to pressure here. I don't think he expects Vinchester to be up. It's actually a really nice build from Sebastian, but just simply a better one from Vinchester to prepare the castle already and to be a minute and a half away from the Imperial Age right now.
I mean, Sebastian might be able to go for chemistry right away as he's building his university. So that could be something for him at least. Because with Bohemians, he can go bombard cannon right away. He doesn't need to wait for chemistry. But, I mean, the timing is for Vinchester still. Vinchester might be able to build a 2nd castle to have a double trebuchet production. And he's going for Skirm. I saw Skirm upgrade. Interesting. Why not crossbow? I'm not sure.
No. I actually really like Skirm.
Okay.
The Bohemians, in my opinion, the weakest thing for them is Skirm Monk. Because their cav is horrible, and then the only thing they have to kill Skirm is their siege, which can get converted by the monks. So Skirm Monk was what I was thinking when I saw the matchup in Dark Age. I think Skirm Monk is the right play against Bohemians.
I agree, but at the same time, I'll make like for a timing like this, where you have a low economy, a weak economy, only 18 on food, maybe like Crossbowman Bracer could have done the job as well. But on the long run, you're definitely right.
Yeah. I mean, Crossbowman Bracer, I think the value it gives you is to maybe kill the monks a little bit faster or something. But honestly, I think that arena games so often are just about who takes the middle with the siege push and the monks, right? And I think the skirms is just kind of the safer play. With low economy, you are using all your gold anyways for the siege and the monks. There's Finch with his first trap. Now, chemistry is going to be in for Sebastian. So he can make trebs, and he could also make bombard cannons. No bombard cannons available for Vinchester.
But he is ready with his monks. He already has all the techs to He's ready to convert the bombard cannons in case he's coming. So Vinchester should be fine. I'm a bit surprised though. If I was Vinchester, I would have abused the market a bit to have my second castle, and make sure I'm surviving this early push, right? Because I don't know, if I'm Vinchester, I'm thinking like I have a good economy. My opponent should have the same economy, or maybe I'm a bit ahead. And it's Bohemians, right? You don't want to underestimate the monks bombard cannot push versus Bohemians. So maybe a second castle could have made sense, but at the same time you need stone to repair the first one. So that's not an easy decision.
He is out of stone now, right?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, maybe in this Treb war, he felt like having the resources to repair would be needed. And right there, we saw Bomber Cannon hops out, it hits the Treb once, and then all of a sudden, Vinchester trying to convert the cannon, but now Sebastian trying to convert the monks from Vinchester, and Vinchester loses the Treb, and Sebastian's holding this position just barely, but he is holding this position, and Vinch has to keep popping in his castle so he doesn't lose his monks, and we have a real clowny affair right now.
Yeah, and none of them does have masonry, yeah, so no advantage on the castle, and the castle is falling.
Now the skirms can hop out. Now the skirms could do what they were made for. Trebs from Vinch actually hitting the monks from Sebastian, which is not going to help things for Sebastian. And Sebastian might be in trouble here, Margougou.
Yeah.
The skirms still haven't shown themselves. The skirms could just be monk killers here.
Sebastian will need to be on point on the monk micro while he's making a militia.
It's probably a panic misclick. We understand it here in the casting booth, the panic militia. We've all done it.
Yeah, we understood
I love how
the misclick, but
patient Vinchester was there, Margougou. Where,
I agree.
Like, he went in and out of that castle 7 times. I would have gone in and out of the castle like 2 times. And after taking a good fight, I would say, okay, this is fine for me.
Shot.
Oh my god. What's happening? What is happening?
Why are we taking that much risk?
What? What? How would Vinchester not lose a unit? They do not play by the same rules as us, Margougou. What is that?
I mean, that was the exact same situation in games 1 for Sebastian. Like, I think that was a big one.
Vinch, I mean, he didn't kill that many monks. He's losing his mass, which was designed to kind of protect his own monks, but he does still have so much more army and so much more eco than Sebastian. Yeah. And his monks are super close for converting all the siege here.
1 DBC converted.
Gets 1 bombard cannon.
Second one soon. Yeah, Sebastian is losing this, I believe, because now he doesn't have any army. But yeah, I mean, the moment he jumped on the Mangonel, I think it was exactly the same on game 1. He didn't realize it. And as the GG is called, and 3-2. Ooh, that's getting close.
Vinch isn't done yet. I mean, that's what's so impressive. I think a lot of people need the tower rush to accomplish so much more. Like, anyone who's not, like, let's say Vinchester, honestly, that tower rush loses you the game. Because, or maybe if you're not even the Bengalis, because it was just not a great tower rush. And then he didn't have the map control he wanted, and his opponent had a really good fast imp timing into bomber cannons. But Vinch prepared for it, and even though it was an aggressive play in feudal, it was essentially to set up the Imperial Age victory.
I mean, at the end of the day, the tower rush was not that big, but he kind of managed to deny both goals. So I didn't focus on it, but maybe that Sebastian had to sell a lot of woods to get some gold and to repair the mangonels or produce more mangonels. And maybe at the end of the day, it was more costly to defend for Sebastian than we expected, actually.
Yeah, also, remember, he went forward with 4 vills.
Yeah, true.
He has four extra vills because of Bengalis by the time he makes it to Castle Age, combined with the extra vills he gets when he makes it to Imp. So,
yeah,
Bengali eco, man. Super solid, yeah.
And he didn't lose 8 vill like Mysterio, so it helps.
Yeah, I like how you continue to bring up the fact that Yo lost 8 vills.
Yeah.
Do you think Yo is going to listen to this and be happy about that?
Oh, I don't even need to listen to this. I messaged him after his loss.
What did you say?
I said, bro, 8 vill in the corner? I mean, even I wouldn't have made this mistake.
And he said?
He didn't answer.
Really? I imagine he normally answers.
Depends when it's trash talk, you know? I think he saw the message and was like, freaking Margougou. Okay, now I'm gonna play League of Legends to to rest a bit.
To
That's
forget
Yo
about the
there.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's Yo. He plays Age of Empires for 8 hours, and then he'll go play League for 4, and then he'll sleep and he'll wake up and repeat. And that's been the
Yeah.
last 10 years for Yo.
Hit, play, sleep. That's a common day for Yo.
Yeah, Yo is the true gamer. Yo is the gamer that all of our parents were worried that we would become if we were allowed to play too many video games.
Oh, that's so true. Oh, freaking Yo. And it's like he's even like, you know, he's dealing the schedule for most of the Chinese player. I saw some people like helping him a bit, but he's like helping the community as well. So I think he's
Yeah.
really sit in front of this PC like 24 hours a day.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're right. Like, and people who watch don't realize, like, Yo also speaks the best English from the Chinese community. So he is doing all the scheduling for like 10 players
Yeah.
that are high level players for China. So he's doing the scheduling threads to schedule for other people's games, scheduling for his own tournaments, still playing ranked all the time, and then still finds 5 hours a day to play League. So the guy's just he's a gamer, man.
He's a
And
gamer.
we love him. We love him to death.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. Okay, what is the
So-
next map? Oh, I saw it.
You saw the map. I'm just thinking about the Georgians and the Japanese 1 and 2 pick for Vinchester.
Yeah.
If there was ever a situation where you wanted to come back and win when you're 3-1 down, you want your top 2 picks, don't you?
Yeah, I totally agree. And actually, as you said, like Vinchester didn't use any of his 2 biggest save potentially, so he might feel even comfortable in the set right now. While Sebastian, I mean, what save does Sebastian has left? Vikings is left for Sebastian. Magyars and Turks.
I think Magyars is probably Lance Madness, so
Yeah.
that would be a game 7. Magyars Georgians seems like a good matchup there, and then on Pacific Islands, which we're seeing next,
Vikings,
it is going to be Vikings Japanese.
Yeah, should be. Oh, Pacific Island is a really interesting map, strategically speaking, as well. I don't know. Did you see a lot of Pacific Island on this tournament yet?
I've seen a couple games. I think the game that left the biggest impression on me was like Doubt playing NBL in a show match before the main event. But the meta seems to be a lot of feudal galleys and and like transporting. But give me your overall opinion on Pacific Islands. Dave wouldn't even say the name of the map. Like he gets so emotionally involved and against this map for whatever reason. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, my first impression when I saw that this map was part of the map pool is, who did this? Like Dave, I was like, it's not possible. This map is so bad. And then I trained it multiple times, and there is some strategy that you can try that are good, but I would say overall the map is not really good. I think for one-time tournament is okay, but I don't want to see it many times after this. Like you want to see it like once in a year, and that's it. You're done with it.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, I'm not going to pretend Pacific Islands is the best map ever. I also don't think it's the worst map ever. I think for this tournament, they've got like a migration category, right?
Yeah.
And so they needed more variety other than just migration. So that's probably their reasoning for bringing it in. But as we jump into game number 6 in what has been a great series, I just got to repeat the situation here for viewers. Sebastian's up 3-2, obviously, but Vinchester is playing with his second Civilization pick here in an attempt to tie it up. And if we go to game number 7, Vinchester will have his number 1 Civilization. So Vinchester, well within his means to come back here, win this thing, and make it to the semifinals. We got a real banger on our hands, Margougou.
I totally agree. Like this set has been delivering such a good show. So close. And since game 1, every game was wild. Almost every game, except the Kawazan one.
Except for game 2. Yeah, game 2. And you do wonder, I have a tendency to go back and think about those games if a player loses,
Yeah.
So you hope for Vinchester's sake that that's not the case. But that certainly was a game that is going to be living in his memory if he loses. Now, he's going to scout the Southern Island. On Pacific Islands, there's 2 areas to transport to, and you start with the transport.
As a player, do you rewatch your defeat on like being casted by someone to like learn about your defeat?
Being casted by someone? Are you asking for me, or do you think they do it?
For you, as a player. Like, if you want
No
to improve
way,
a
dude.
bit. Yeah, same.
I don't want anyone else's. I don't want some freaking caster's opinion on my situation. Especially, it depends on the caster. Margougou, if you're casting and you're 2K5 and you give opinions, that's one thing.
Okay.
Dave, I love him to death. I don't want to watch him cast my loss. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking. I'm like, you don't understand, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I think. But what would make sense, and what I do, as painful as it is if I lose, I will watch the losses on my own to try and decide like where did things go wrong. I think that at the bare minimum is what a player should try and do, I think.
As a player, I can rewatch everything, but the set I'm eliminated from a tournament, it's impossible for me to even watch the whole tournament if it's like a really bad loss. For example, let's say I would have lost in IDECAM 5 versus my first set. I don't remember the name of the player. A Brazilian player, 2K1, best of 3. I almost lost to him. It would have been one of the biggest upset of all time in the Eden Cup qualifier. I can tell
it would not have been. It would not have been one of the biggest upsets of all time. I don't think he was solid, man.
I can tell you, if I would have lost this one, I wouldn't even have casted Eden Cup Fire. I would have just stayed on my bed and be like, "That's it. I'm done with AOE. That's over. Like finito para me."
Margougou, imagine hosting your own tournaments, right?
Yeah.
And then losing as the favorite in sets in your own tournament. And then you have to cast all the maps and all the settings, because that's my life, my friend.
Oh, you did that in the previous Eden Cup?
No, in Titans League, I've lost as the favorite season 2 and season 3 in the best of 3s. So it's been I've had a decent amount of pain with that. So
I can
transport from Vinch and transport from Sebastian, the same island here.
That's gonna be spicy.
This is gonna be spicy, yes.
And I actually think that's way better for Japanese, because as Vikings, most of the time, you like to have like a calm game where you can, let's say, build your galley, only fighting on water, right? For Japanese, it's better to have a messy game to be able to go aggressive, to put the aggression on the land and the water as well, because you will be able to build some fire ship. So I do believe being on the same island might be better for Japanese if Japanese decided to add a range or a stable at one point.
And Vinch actually taking 2 villagers to the other island now.
Ooh.
So he deviated. He was going to bring them to the initial one, and then he's moved them. And we have double dock from Sebastian. So Sebastian is not going for any land aggression at all. And Vinchester is just assuming that Sebastian is on the other island because Sebastian scouted him. And oh my god, Sebastian's also laming again. He transported his scout here, and he's going to try and lame again. He killed 1 buffalo, and he's stealing 2 more at the moment. Oh man, 1 dies and 1 gets stolen.
Oh no. I don't know how Vinch is not breaking his PC right now.
Dude,
honestly.
That's crazy. And I mean, well, he needs his PC so he can find out that Sebastian isn't even here. And then he can break his PC, because this is really not going well for him.
Maybe he will break his PC when he will realize he's on the wrong island.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking, man. Well, can we talk about Sebastian scouting this game? Because it's been incredible. He scouted that Vinchester was here. He also used his transport ship earlier to find where Vinchester's dock is. Then he used the scout with the transport to go lame.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just been a perfect start for him.
I mean, Vinchester did scout the lumber camp position, but he missed the vills. Like, he did scout it, but a bit too early, I believe. A bit too early.
Yeah, what would be interesting? What if Vinchester uses his transport and sends the archers to Sebastian's starting island?
Actually, that's a really good move. I saw it in multiple training sessions, and that's actually a pretty common move, but that's a really good one. But what if his garrison is archer into his transport ship, and the transport ship dies on the way to the island on the galleys?
Well, then that's really bad.
then the PC is gone.
Then the PC is gone. But I honestly, I think we're about to see it. He's got 5 units. So he's going to bring his vills. He's going to bring 2 archers, and he's going to bring his scout. And his fire galley will encounter his opponent's island here.
Yeah.
and he knows that Sebastian's this direction. And so Sebastian's not traveling that way. Sebastian doesn't have a big reason to do that.
Yes.
And Sebastian is going to have some army on his island soon. This is going to be really spicy, like you said, Margougou.
And even if he wants to build a tower, Sebastian, I mean, he has to choose on his main island. Do I protect the gold? Do I protect the wood line? But then, even if you manage to protect both with a single tower, the archer can just be transported into the other island and pressure your wood line as well.
Yeah.
So that's really tricky for Sebastian. I mean, maybe it's
Also,
time for Sebastian to mine some stone, actually. When he will
you
realize
need to make sure you don't attack the house. That happens so frequently. Your units arrive, and they will automatically attack something. And Sebastian noticed because of that.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to bring his galleys to the shoreline, and that combined with some walls, he could maybe defend here. But this isn't the type of situation that Vinchester is going to hesitate in. He knows that this game has not been great for him to start, and that he needs to make it messy here.
And he's losing his fish as well, so he's going to be forced to be aggressive to try to find some counter damage too. And he's even building a range in the back of Sebastian Islands. So in case Sebastian is even like sniping the transport, thinking, okay, I'm safe now, then he has a range in the Sebastian's back. The question is, can Sebastian seize it? Not yet.
He can, but he's coming to kill the archer.
Oh, he saw it.
And he could kill the archer, and he could also take out the range, actually.
Yeah, that's true. The question is, what are we doing if we are Sebastian? I actually believe defensive tower is the best way to defend this, because you don't really want to go into skirms, right? Your only food economy is like some villas on berries, I believe, and some fishing ship, right? So your food economy is really weak. So either you want to add your own range and go for your own archer, but when you are behind in the archer number, going for archer is a bit weird, right? And actually I think some tower defense, try to grid to castle age maybe, and then playing some longboats and siege on the island could be something decent, I guess.
I mean, I think you just transport a lot of your vills to the island, the new island. I think that's the play. Vinchester is denying some of the stone, but Sebastian could still make a tower if he wants. Sebastian's done a great job at relaxing under pressure, I've noticed. Again, pressure comes in, but he doesn't have villagers moving all around. He assesses that, okay, this could do a little bit of damage in one area, but it can't completely kill me.
Exactly.
And he's just relaxed. It's so cool to see how little he moves. I feel like you and I might be clicking vills all over, and he's just like, nope, I'm fine.
Why you say you and I?
Well, I would be, right?
Okay.
I would be. And
maybe as well.
Maybe you would be, now that there's archers from Vinchester and a tower next to the wood line here. This would be a problem for you.
But look at Sebastian, he's up. That's why I think defensive tower was the best move possible. Then some, maybe he can afford a knight. His food economy though is really weak. While Vinchester does have some farms actually. Because okay, Sebastian clicked up, but with 2 on the food, he won't have a bank to click like clicking both King Arrow, for example, or to go for a single knight, or even produce villas. So he's adding farms now, which is good. But I wonder what's gonna be Sebastian's first move on Castle Age. I guess he should focus on reclaiming some of the land of the new island. That could be a good idea, I think, to start with.
The transport ship for Vinch has been very active.
Yeah.
And that transport ship's still really important for him here. Vinch is about to click up the castle, fighting for his tournament life here, of course. And Sebastian, he's going to be in Castle Age, but he won't have stone for a town center. He won't have much food to be able to get upgrades on eco or military. I think one knight can clear up the raid from Vinch on his island. Maybe a knight could also give Vinchester problems on the other island. But you can't forget about water either. There's just a lot for Sebastian that he has to keep focusing on here.
And as I said, it's not really simple for a Viking player to play in this type of situation, right? Like, if you are any other civ, you just go fire galley, right? And it's pretty easy, right? You just have to patrol on some spot and you can reclaim some water, the water back. But with galley, you need to be fully focused on your galleys, like 24/7, because if you are not focused, you will lose all of them really quickly. So it's really difficult for the Viking players to play in this type of situation. I believe a longboat will make it a bit easier for Sebastian. But, I mean, does he have even to invest on water now?
So Sebastian, I mean, honestly, epic play. He understands that if he travels too far on this island, Vinch might see him. So he's placing a pretty bad TC, but considering the circumstances, that is as smart as can be.
As terrible as it is, Vinch still can see it though.
Yeah. But Vinch can't deny it because it's next to the shoreline. And so those archers from Vinch won't find value.
I mean, he can still siege push it on Castle H, and actually Monk siege for Japanese might be really solid versus Vikings, and looks like Sebastian wants to rush down this tower, but there is archer in it. I'm not sure about the idea.
Yeah, it will be messy.
Well.
It will be messy. Vinchester's going to try and go cab archers here. The only thing he saw to worry about on land were knights from Vikings. Knight does get transported over. But even that knight will probably die here, and the tower will stay up, and it's awkward for Sebastian. Vinchester hasn't given up on water, but honestly, Sebastian has done such a great job keeping his galley mass alive. He had such a big mass, and there's many weak ships, but he never really... he's always been active with them, Margougou.
Yeah.
And he's played really solid in that regard.
Yeah, he's playing solid. Vinchester is going for CA on a single archery range on this island. I actually think it's a really good move, as he already gets Bodkin Arrow. So why not using Bodkin Arrow, making some CA, trying to harass or at least to block the Sebastian economic expansion on this island. And if he's
he also has... sorry to interrupt. It's just an important point. He really has a lot of stone right now. Vinch.
True.
And the thing is, water control doesn't give you a fish boom on this map.
Yeah.
So having all that navy, it boosts your score, and maybe eventually you can kill Vils, like Sebastian's doing on Vinchester's Island now. But a castle on one of the expansion areas is just a game ender.
Yeah. The question is, where's Vinchester gonna place his castle? I guess the best castle might be where the TC and the Siege Workshop are, to totally end the Sebastian expansion on this island. But now that there is a Siege Workshop, it's a bit tricky, right? If there is a Mongol out, you can feel like doubt suddenly.
Also, a really interesting thing. So Vinch has 42 Vils. 34 of them are on his starting island, and they cannot escape. So Vinch can't actually drop a castle with more than 5 Vils, and those are the 5 Vils building the TC. So Vinch is like... Yeah, he's actually going to start dropping towers here because he's running out of resources he could take with these villagers at the starting TC.
I actually think taking into Guard Tower as you already have the +2 might be way better than a castle, actually, when you think about it. Like, just drop a tower on the South Islands to block the expansion, same on the top. It'd be really good.
Yeah, I actually don't even know if you need Guard Tower. I think if you just go regular tower, players are going to pull their galleys away.
Okay. Yeah, it could make sense.
So that is good, I think. Interesting game here, right? Like, Vinchester has 3 TCs, each on a separate island. He does also have a villager. Oh, maybe he had the villager. I think he lost the sneak villager that was on the other island.
Yep.
Wow. Wild scenes here. And no gold for Sebastian, actually. He's just finished his gold on his starting island. So now he needs a gold on one of the areas where Vinch is contesting.
And that has to be a really complicated game for both players, right? You have so many spots to be focused on, right? And a big Mongol fight will happen on the top island. Vinchester does have the hill, but is easily outnumbered on the Mongol number. Some monks for Vikings, even if my Vikings monks are not the best. Nice micro.
Ooh. Yeah, I think now that Sebastian's had that engagement, and also sees that TC, he's got so many Vils here. I think he might sell that wood and just buy a castle here. What do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely... I think now that he will realize that there is a castle popping on behind this forest on the south, he has to realize he needs to do something.
Yeah. And that would be return the favor and get a castle down right here. He doesn't have time to... Well, it's a little risky, I guess, to wait for the stone to come in naturally. Oh, man. Abandon this area, Sebastian. Abandon this area. He's madman. He's going to actually mine gold there? That's so risky.
Yeah. But, I mean, he does have the water control, though. So, I mean, at one point, Vinchester will need to go back on water, invest heavily into some fire, and hope to take it back.
And Sebastian gaining the hill now with his siege push, but Vinchester's got more siege. The gold income for Sebastian should be denied by 2 cav archers. The 2 cav archers from Vinchester are on patrol, but it's just such a messy game. He doesn't see it. I think you just sit to the left of the gold, and the galleys can't range you there.
Nice
But Vinch
micro
does not
again.
notice.
Nice micro by Sebastian. Mongonal micro is
and Sebastian got a kill there. Oh, that's huge. Oh, Vinch is desperate to hold this area. He's going to drop a castle behind this. Oh, man.
What type of castle is it, though? Might be a dark one.
Sebastian's going to attack the workshop.
Can he see it with the monks? Yes, he can. It's coming to deny it.
Oh, no. The castle will not go up. This could be Sebastian to the semifinals.
There is a monk on for Vinch. Oh, no. He shot the monk. Oh, no.
Oh, disaster for Vinch. Vinch is going to lose these vills. Or Sebastian will just convert them. One way or another, they won't be Vinch's anymore.
And now
Sebastian will have gold, and Sebastian is going to click up to Imperial Age.
Now that's the moment where you click on the Mongonel with your vills and you're like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Yep. Let's go elsewhere. But looking really bad for Vinch. I mean, Vinch, how many vills does Vinch has on wood? 3? 4? I mean, look at the starting island, as you said. He's completely surrounded. He cannot gather any resources.
And, you know, I don't think there's anything Vinch can really do if Sebastian can get Cannon Galleon. Trebs are great, but Cannon Galleon and Trebs, Cannon Galleon will range so much of the islands here.
I actually think
Vinchester has no way of getting water control again.
Like, Vinchester will see that Sebastian is imp. He will watch at the score. He will be like, okay, GG, congrats for the semi-final, I guess. But wow, that was a set. I mean, it's not over totally yet, but looks like Sebastian is about to take the set.
Look at Sebastian's eco on his starting island. Remember when he had no gold and he abandoned the island? I look back over there, and he had maybe like 8 farms.
Yeah.
Now he's got 22 farms over there. Like, his ability to chill under pressure, his ability to macro while being aggressive is just insane. And
I agree.
I think it's just a feeling that if he can execute like this so consistently on all maps, obviously he looks like he's about to be top 4, at least in Warlords, but I don't think this is a fluke. I don't think this is like, you know, one player having a good run. If he could do this consistently, he may be a new top 5 contender consistently throughout the coming years.
I mean, I think he's in insane shape these days. The question, because there will be time where he won't be in top shape always. The question is, when he's gonna be in normal or bad shape, is he still is he still able to like go top 4, go top 8? But you need like a first. You need to eat it first. So you need to get there first. Once, and then like he will have an insane boost of confidence. He's playing really well. So even when he won't be in top shape, I'm really sure he will be able to deliver the really good level. And I think we have a rising star.
100%. 100%. And we have had it, but for it to rise to this height so soon is pretty crazy. I think it's really been the last year and a half, 2 years where he's been in people's minds. But, you know, Titans League, I remember he performed quite well, winning a group with Nikov and Hart in it.
Yeah.
And then Hidden Cup, making Hidden Cup, and now he lost first round in Hidden Cup, and now this. This is crazy from Sebastian. Vinchester will know he's dead, but he does not want to lose this, and he has clicked up to Imp. If this was game 1, Vinchester calls it. Of course, we see this all the time. He's only going to call this if he knows with certainty that he is dead.
I mean, he's fighting for his tournament, Vinchester, so that's normal that he's trying his best, but I just don't see a way back, and same as him because he calls it.
Sebastian played so well these games. He played so well. He was calm when he needed to. He was aggressive when he needed to, and he was ruthless, wasn't he? There were Two
Yeah.
instances in this series where even that starting scout lamed Vinchester underneath the TC. I do think Vinch, he won't even look back to this game. He's going to look back to that game number 2, which the game that wasn't a game, right?
Yeah.
After losing his Buffalo, and he's going to be like, damn, maybe if that was actually more competitive for me and I could have made it to a game 7, I would have had my number 1 pick. I could have been the one moving on to the semifinals, but Sebastian just playing incredible. He had some tough things to deal with in this game. There were transported archers. There were, towers. There were, he couldn't find gold. He couldn't build good TCs for a while, and he just made it look so easy. He moves on to the semifinals to face the winner of Doubt and Viper.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I actually think he's not facing Hera because Hera is like, as always, in an amazing shape, really good. But I think Viper or Doubt is actually doable. As you said in Talos Aquisi Cup, he beat Doubt, but also beat Tato.
Yes.
And let's see who is he gonna face. But if it's Viper, he might not be. He won't be favorite, but he has really decent chances because he's playing really well. And in case it's facing Doubt, we can already say that's gonna be really close, no matter what. And he has good chances. Maybe he's not favorite because he's kind of new, but I mean, betting on Sebastian is not a bad call.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that just says how good Sebastian's played, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations to Sebastian. Excited to see that. Margougou, thanks for joining. If you want to stick around, that's cool.